All right, what's up, everybody? It's Dr. William James, Dr. Will James podcast. Here with me tonight, as promised, to have a discussion. I'm sure you've seen her on several panels. Her and I actually have done a panel together. It's the one and only Jazz Noel.
How you doing, Dr. James? Thank you for having me.
I'm well, and thank you for coming online for this collaboration. We're going to discuss some of the topics that that I sent to you. Um, in these spaces, and some things that I've noticed from you as well. My whole point of being in this space is coming together to identify solutions for the Black community. Um, One of the key topics, and I've said this before, dating is a key component. It's very important in the Black community that Black men and Black women come together with how we want to approach dating and marriage relationships, because that's without that you can't get the Black family. So if we stay like butting heads and we're at odds with, oh, the man should do this, the woman should do this, and we can't come together for an understanding of that, then we won't have a family. And I talk
Absolutely.
about that in my book. We need the Black nuclear family. So this is why I think it starts here. I think some people say, I'm sure you've heard people say this, so I'm tired of this relationship conversations and stuff like that. But without these conversations, how do we get the family back? Well, what
Right.
do you think about that?
No, I think you're right. I think there is a lack of balance when it comes to Black women and men, and we've kind of lost our way of how we can complement each other. Um, I too am exhausted with the relationship conversations only because there is never any solution. I am more interested in conversations that are solution oriented. So if we can have a relationship conversation that drives us to a point where we can, take away new skills for us to bring us together closer, then I'm all for that. And I think that's what's missing in the conversation. It's too much of a blame game, point the finger, who's wrong, instead of saying, hey, let's look within and then fix some things and come together so we can continue to build and progress the nuclear Black family.
Um, when we think of solutions, what are some like solutions that you could think of to get us in a better space or get us back towards, more Black nuclear families?
Love. Ultimately, I think we need to get back to loving ourselves, like truly loving ourselves outside of the mask that we wear and present to the world for validation. I think we need to get back to loving ourselves as Black people, understanding our power, and then also loving each other the same way. Because one thing I feel our ancestors had before us, or just the generation before us, they had a love for Black people and they had a love for Black love. That's why they were able to come together in solidarity and march for days on end for change, which is why they were able to come together and do sit-ins and support one another and sacrifice so much for the people, for the love of Black people. And I think now we've gotten so far removed from that. We have believed that loving our community somehow is victimhood. Wanting the best for our community is an aversion to success. And a lot of us have been tricked to believe that. And we've lost community. And it's too much of a hyperfixation on individualistic progress, as opposed to community progress. And so with that mindset, this is where we are. So to tie it all back in, love is at the core of what's needed right now. Like I'm not even being, whimsical and fallacy thinking, like, no, that's really what the root of it is. That's what's going to bridge the gap for our community first.
Um, So tied in with that love, do you believe in gender roles?
Gender roles?
Yeah.
Gender roles. I don't know at this point. I understand that there are certain things that I guess men can do better, but I don't see any role where only a man can do or only a woman can do. We may do them differently. We may take a different amount of time to get whatever that is done, but I don't know any role that's specifically designed for a gender outside of giving birth. So, what would you say? Are there specific gender roles, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in order for us to thrive, I think when we were thriving in the 40s, 50s, 60s, during Jim Crow, uh, I think we were thriving because of the gender roles. And I think just in the way things are set up, I believe in a certain amount of masculinity, and I do believe in men being protectors. There's nothing that I will ever allow my woman to do that's going to put her in jeopardy um, when I'm present. So, like for example, um, the classic example of we're laying in bed at night and we hear a noise. I think it's the man's duty to always go check what was that. I think that's his role to make sure his woman is safe, and he goes to look. And if that was a burglar, what did we hear come past? Something, I had my Ring camera going off or whatever it is. I think it's the man's duty to go check. And I don't think it could ever be like, oh yeah, if my wife wants to go check, she can go check. At that point, I think that's an issue. And I think most women would find that to be an issue if the man is just going to sit there in bed and she got to get up and go look. Like,
I don't think I don't I hear what you're saying. Like that definitely stems from a patriarchal society and mindset um that told men that they have to be the first line of defense for women and children. And I kind of get the logic behind that. For me, my man can go ahead of me, but I'm not going to just sit there and stay in bed either. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to just have no movement if something were to happen in that way. If we have children, if there are other things that I can do to help him, I'm going to do that. So I hear what you're saying, but I still see it as a team effort. This is your role in the team. This is my role. I got your back. You got my front. So I hear what you're saying. I'm okay with that. But as a woman, just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I'm going to hide under the sheets while he goes sees what's there. I'm gonna have his back. But that's me though. Some men, I've had this conversation. Some men would prefer if the woman just sits there and wait under the sheets and not do anything and just sit there and wait. And that's okay too. If you can get to the goal that same way and you can protect us that way, if that's the way you feel works for you, then rock out. But I think the man that I'm going to be with knows I'm not just going to sit there, but I'm also not going to hinder him from protecting the home as well. Like I said, there are ways that we can tag team this together.
here's a scenario that I like. Um,
But also, you do know, like, not to cut you off, but do you
yeah.
know that instance, it's funny how that example is always brought up, and that example almost never happens in our lifetime. It's
What?
always like
The check.
somebody's gonna break in the house. It almost I forgot what the actual stat and data of that is, but it's a very small percentage of these occurrences happening where men actually have to get up and defend the home from a burglar. So I just find it so funny that people always use that as their stance on gender roles when you're more than likely are never going to experience that in your life. But
Well, that is like, it's just no one's necessarily breaking in, but you hear a noise and
I
like
get
you're
it,
like,
yeah.
well, what's that? What's that noise? And you go check, and it could have just been, something fell, a
The
pot
radiator,
fell.
yeah.
But you
Mhm.
go on the man is the one getting up to go check. It ain't the woman getting up to go check because it's like you should want to go check. It's like also this
Yeah.
scenario. If you're, let's say you're leaving from dinner with your spouse or whatever, and y'all are walking to the car, and a burglar jumps out or whatever to like rob you or whatever,
Always a burger.
and your man takes off running. He takes off running. He leaves you there. He takes off running.
No.
What does Jazz do next? What does that relationship look like? What happens?
Well, obviously, if it's one thing to take off running without me, but if you grab me and we take off running, that's something different. I would find that to be a cowardly character trait of you, and I think anybody can display that. That's like a selfish coward characteristic. You know what I mean? I could display that as well. Somebody pops out and I take off and I don't even care. Like, yeah, I'm a woman and I should run away, but I just ran off and didn't give a fuck about you. It I hear what you're saying. I would feel some type of way, just not because you ran, but because you left me. Not because you didn't try to fight off the burglar, but because whoever I'm with left me, whether that's a man or my home girl. It's like, girl, come on. It's like, friend, come on. I'm not boiling it down to that doesn't make you a man or not. I just think you lack courage and you're a little selfish. And only, when it boils down to it, you're going to save yourself.
Would he still be your man, or would you end the relationship?
No, because I don't find, because that showed me that ultimately you are not a selfless person if you are willing to leave me in a dangerous situation. Like just take off running, not care if I'm safe or not care if I'm getting grabbed. No, why would I continue to be with that? You just showed me you're more about yourself. But I also wouldn't be friends with a woman if she did the same thing. I also would not continue to be friends with that person because if we're here together, we should be trying to lead together. We should be trying to escape together. We should be trying to help each other. So, like I said, it depends on the person and how you respond in a situation. I don't think it matters whether you're a man or a woman, but I wouldn't deal with either one if that were to happen that way.
The you Do you know the interesting thing about that question? When when I ask men the question, I'm like, if you were, the same scenario, and your woman took off running, left you there, all of the men said they would be fine, they would have no problem, and the relationship would continue as normal. Why do you think that is?
Um, why do I think men would not have a problem? Because I think honestly, if a man were to say that was a problem out loud, he would fear being judged by society of not being a man. He would be viewed as, why would you care if she ran off? You're a man. You're supposed to be there, the front line of defense. She's supposed to run away from you and do that. So why would you be upset if she, if she left you? I I can see if that doesn't make you upset, that's okay. But I just feel like I wouldn't leave my partner. I may, I don't know if there's like a fight that ensues, I may walk away a little bit to try to find help, but I think he would more so fear of being looked at as less than a man if he were to say that out loud. Like, yeah, man, she left me. He would feel like a pussy saying that out loud. But I feel it's okay for you to feel away. It's okay. I think it would be okay for you to feel away. But men are conditioned not to feel, period.
Um, from my perspective, if the robber jumps out and my woman runs off and leaves me, and I know she got away, the reason why I wouldn't feel away is just because, like, the protector instinct in me, my whole job is to protect her. So, by any means, if she got away, then the duty is done, mission accomplished. She got away. So, from my perspective, that's why I really wouldn't care, because I would just be happy knowing that my lady is safe.
Yeah, I
If
get that.
Yeah, if the robber jumps out and I beat him up real quick and she's standing there and we can um I could defend her and we get away. I'm happy. If she runs off, and she gets away, I'm happy.
No, I get
Yeah.
it. I'm not saying that I'm going to not allow him to protect me the way
Mhm.
that a man will naturally try to protect something that he loves, right? But what I'm saying for me, I'm not running off. Like I may give you some feet, but I'm going to keep my eyes here. I'm going to figure out how to help you. Maybe not the same way you're trying to help me, but I'm not running off and disappearing to come
Mhm.
back to no. I got to keep eyes on. That's me though. If you would rather your woman go and run off and disappear on the next block and wait for you to call and say it's all good, that's okay too.
I'm not sure if I would rather her run off or I don't. I do what I just want to know she's safe, so I
Yeah,
wouldn't
and I
mind if she
totally
went.
get that logic. Yeah.
But the dude who run on you though, he
Mhm.
better not run on you. Is what you're saying. If he leave you there, he's selfish and he's not going to protect you.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
concerned about anybody. I feel like he will also do that with a child. Like if your first instinct is to run off, I'm somebody that you care about, and it ain't grabbing me and like, girl, come on. But it's just you taking off running away. Like you don't like me, you hate me. Like when it came down to it, when the circumstance happened, you showed me exactly what it was. Like you don't give a fuck about me. It was fight or flight. And I get it. Some people just panic, but even I've been in situations, even in panic mode, I'm not leaving the person that's with me that I care about under any circumstance. That's me, though. I have a different type of spirit when it comes to protection of loved ones.
All right. Um, how would you say that you are misunderstood if you are misunderstood at all?
How would I say I am misunderstood?
Yeah. Or if you are
Or
misunderstood on anything.
I mean, I'm always misunderstood. Misunderstood in these YouTube streets, because I entered a space. I didn't realize it, but I entered a very um a lane that was kind of one track minded, very manospheric, very patriarchal, very gender role, very man is here, woman is all the way down here at the bottom of the shoe. Like I entered the lane where this was that, and I'm coming in like, no, that's a little toxic. I give a lot of pushback to like narratives that people have believed are normal, and it comes off to them that I am anti-men, that I'm a feminist, that I want to see men fail, that I don't like black men. And that is so far from the truth. But because I am a woman and I'm usually going at or in debates with other men, if I am not performing in a certain way that appeases their ego, I'm going to be misunderstood. And I'm a little animated. I'm not super quiet. I curse a little bit. I'm sassy. All of those things are traits that a lot of men think aren't feminine. And when you're not meeting expectations of others, it's going to make people uncomfortable and it's going to make people misunderstand you. I've never once, and you guys can prove me wrong, I've never once got on this internet and disparaged black men. Ever. Never. I am so for, but I have nephews, I have a brother, I have uncles, I have a father. You know, I'm so for the betterment of our black men, especially because I believe in them so much. But where it gets tangled up is when we're having discussions about black men or relationships, and they are trying to absolve accountability from not so great behaviors of men. So when I call those behaviors out, not disparaging black men, but if there are men saying, oh, you should be able to cheat on your wife if you provide. If I say, no, that's not okay. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't weaponize provision onto someone you love, you know? Me saying things like that translate to this audience or those particular audiences is that I'm against men, is that I'm against families. When all I'm saying is respect your wife. So that's where I feel I get a little misunderstood because I'm not in alignment with the overall narrative at that moment sometimes. But that's on them. that's that's y'all problem.
Um, here's a goodie to follow that up. Kevin Samuels, did you agree with him? Was he right or wrong? If he was wrong about something, what do you say that he was wrong about? And the things he was right about, what's something that you agree with him about?
Before I answer, am I allowed to ask you questions too?
Of course.
Okay. So can I ask your question? Ask you a question first.
Sure.
What do you think, as a man who I'm assuming listen to Kevin Samuels? Is there anything that you feel that he said was wrong?
Um,
And if so, what?
in terms of dating, in terms of like what he spoke about,
Just anything in general. Like, were there anything where you're like, nah, bro, like that ain't the way. That's wrong information. Maybe you shouldn't have talked to them like that. Like, was there anything that made you feel like, no, he can explain that or do something better than what he did? Anything that put a bad taste in your mouth?
from the specifically from the dating, because before he was talking about some other topics, and there were times where he spoke about other topics. Specifically, what I seen from him with the dating, and the relationships, and more specifically what he got popular for when he was talking to the females, because he spoke to the men first and that wasn't as
Right.
popular.
Right.
When he spoke to the females, and then he also had the smoke sessions. I don't know if you remember the smoke sessions that he would have, like where he would say, call up for,
Oh,
if you
okay.
want smoke.
Oh, a
And
lot of people have adopted that. I
yeah,
see a lot of content creators doing smoke shows. Okay, that's
yeah,
dope.
he was giving people the chance to call in and say, like, yo, what am I wrong about? And
Okay.
what do you disagree with it? So what I saw from those, and what I saw with the woman calling in on a nightly basis, um, there's nothing that I could point to and say like I disagree with that. One of his biggest, one of the biggest gripes that people have with him, they said like his tone and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But from what I saw, just being honest, it did look like he was like reflecting the energy. It didn't look like he ever started off with someone like with negative energy first.
Okay.
I've never seen a clip like that. And then just in terms of the line of questioning that he went through with them, like, oh, what income do you want in a guy? How old are you? What's your dress size? How much do you weigh? Um, Going through that line of reasoning that he went through with them, and then how everything went, um, with a lot of them being actually, I would say, delusional, to think that, like, for example, if a woman calls in on the show and you're telling me that you're 42 and you got two kids, two baby daddies, and now you want your next mate to make $200,000 a year, like that type of stuff is just like it's delusional at that point. And that's when he would, start hitting the he says something like, buy a dog, die alone, stuff like that. Or he played that what's the thing that they play? The sound that they play
Mhm.
at like the funerals for like military and stuff like that. So, but no, to answer your question, I can't say that there's anything that I saw on a nightly basis
Mhm.
from the dating thing that I would say like, nah, he was wrong about that.
Okay. Can you hear me? I needed to boot up my mic. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I hear
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so when it comes to Kevin Samuels, um, I wasn't like a consistent viewer, right? I'm not wasn't tuned in to shows. I will always, just catch replay clips that people were reacting to or posting or whatever. Um, he did have an interesting way of communicating his message specifically towards Black women. Um, I feel that because of the way that he communicated at times, he would miss the mark because of that way, right? And I feel like when you want to really thoughtfully communicate with someone, all the I feel like sometimes his tone was just a little pompous and kind of like elitist a little bit. So I just think it didn't land well on the audience a lot of times with these women. That's why they would get like a little bit offended and defensive and things like that. Because it's like, who are you? You know, and that's just my interpretation. But when you kind of take all of that away, I do feel that Kevin Samuels at the core was trying to give certain demographics of Black people the tools to come together more. I feel his overall message was like, okay, lady, like you said, this is your position in life. You look like this, you got this going on, you got these kids, you make this kind of money. You should maybe go and try to date this guy that maybe also have some kids, this guy that maybe work in the similar field as you. This is going to work better as opposed to, like you said, having all of these things where some people may call baggage or liability or whatever, and looking at men who aren't even on your radar. So I totally understood that. I am a big advocate for staying in your lane. And I feel like that's ultimately what he was trying to say. But sometimes the execution will get all crazy and then you know what it was.
Mhm.
What really concerned me about his intentions was the clip that I saw of him talking to a woman, and they were speaking about a scenario if they were together because she had kids. The scenario was this: she already had kids. She married him without kids. They had a kid together. They're all moved in. One of her kids that aren't necessarily his biological kids, but they married, whatever. One day she got out the shower and, you know, he was looking at her a certain type of way. Looked at her when she got out the shower, made the little girl feel uncomfortable. The girl tells her mom, Kevin Samuels is this is his scenario. And he says, okay, if that little girl came to you and says, mommy, dad or whoever looked at me when I got out the bathroom, when I got out the shower, I was naked, he made me uncomfortable. He asked that mother, whose side you gonna take? Are you gonna believe her? And he basically was saying to the mother that it would be her fault. What the mother said was, we're ending that relationship immediately, as any mother would, right? Because you're gonna believe. I don't have kids yet, but I feel if I did have children, I'm gonna believe my child. There's no man that could ever get me to not believe my child. That's me though, right? He was trying to tell this mother that she would be wrong for breaking up with him just because her daughter said something, because she could be lying. And she's willing to destroy and blow up their marriage and their family off of an alleged accusation from her daughter. And then also doubled down and judged her and made her feel guilty for trying to leave that relationship because they have a kid together. So he ultimately was saying, like, how are you going to say you're going to leave me when that's my kid too? These are my kids too. So to try to justify a mother not believing their child when that child tells the mother that she experienced some type of sexual uncomfort from a grown man, to not believe that child, I was done with him after that. Because there's no way you should be convincing a mother not to believe their child when they come to you about things like that. And the thing is, well, people are like, well, kids lie, kids lie. Sure, kids lie, but there are certain things kids don't lie about. And the thing is, if they're lying, we'll find out. But I'm going to believe my child first before anything. before anything. If she lying, then she lying, and we'll deal with that as it may. But a grown man telling a mother to believe a man over her own child, that ain't nobody that could ever tell me anything. Because now I know your intentions aren't pure. They are all um, they're all about self. It's like, well, because he even said it on the live that he did this interview with this lady. I'm somebody's child too. This grown ass man. Because she was like, that's somebody's child. Like, we have to protect the children. I'm somebody's child too. Where's my protection? So that right there, when it comes to Kevin Samuels, I understood that part, the first part that I mentioned. But when you try to deny a child's truth to their experience as it pertains to child abuse, I can't fuck with you.
What I remember from him bringing up that scenario, because he used to bring it up often. He used to talk about how being a stepfather was a thankless job, and how when he brought up that scenario, he would say, you know, those children aren't yours. That's why it's a thankless job. And he used to also bring up the scenario like, oh, that's your kid, it's not my kid. Can I spank your child? Can I discipline him? And some of the women would say, no, don't touch, that's my kid. So with the scenario with the daughter situation, he was like, yeah, at any moment you could come home from work or whatever, and your daughter could say, oh, stepdaddy did this, he looked at me funny, and then now who you gonna believe? And he would always compare it to like, if that's the father, you don't have those same discussions, because he'd be like, because if the daughter comes home, if it's my biological child, it's my biological son, my biological daughter, you come home from work, first of all, it's far less likely that the child will even say that. But if the child says that,
no, it's not.
It's a bit of a different discussion, because it's my child too. Just like with beating a child. If the child if you come home from work and I popped, I slapped our son over the butt or whatever, I hit our son, it's my biological son too. It's your biological son. Mm-hmm. You're not going to check me as the father for hitting my biological son.
Not if I don't believe in hitting kids. Yes,
if you come home and I hit my stepson, is your biological child, you can be like, what you doing hitting my child? Like, mm-hmm. It's a different discussion. So I think that's why I used to bring those scenarios up.
So you're saying that if the child accused the stepfather of it, mm-hmm. that's why the mother will respond that way. But if it was the biological father being accused of the same thing, you don't think that mother would respond the same way?
I think it's a different discussion. Yeah. I don't think you can. I think because of the variable.
Yeah, if there's a mother out here, regardless if it's a biological parent or a step parent, that will not take what her child is saying seriously as it pertains to that, then that's something going on with that mother. Because biological or not, if my child said that you were inappropriate with her or with him, you're done. Like, you're done. And as far as this whole stepdad thing, I don't really understand that. I was blessed to have a biological father and a stepfather, both. Or my stepfather was very active in my life. There was never a time where he could not, even though, I wasn't getting hit like that or whatever, but there was never a time where that wasn't my dad that could discipline me. But also that person was in my life since I was a child, like since 3 years old. So that person literally raised me. That was my father. That was my dad. That was the man that was in the home. So when it comes to like the stepfather aspect, I don't understand why step parents get so much smoke, because if we really care about children, shouldn't we want positive influences in the household, especially male influences in the household, if that biological father is absent? So shouldn't we be commending these men who take their time and energy to not only love a woman, but love that woman's child as well, and bring him up to be an upstanding man? I don't an upstanding human. I don't understand why there's pushback on parents who want to take care of kids, like stepfathers and single mothers.
It depends on if you have kids or you don't. I don't I don't think, and there's a lot of people who say like, "Oh, I don't want to get with someone who has kids if I don't have kids. I
Yeah,
want to have one family. I want us to have, I want my first kids to be their first kids." So it's like that type of situation where if the woman doesn't have kids, she wants a man who doesn't have kids. If the guy doesn't have kids, he wants a woman who doesn't have kids. To If you have kids already, then you shouldn't have no problem getting with someone who has kids.
yeah.
But if you don't, then I see the issue there. Um,
Honestly,
but
I think no one's putting a gun in anybody's head saying that y'all got to date single mothers. No one's putting a gun to any woman's head saying that she got to date a man with kids. I
mhm.
don't, I don't have kids, and for a long time, I was very like, I don't want, and even now, I don't want to date a man that has small children. I understand that a lot of men my age have kids already, but they got to be of a certain age for me to even consider it. Like I get it. We all have a choice. So that's why I don't understand like why these men who don't like single mothers always have so much smoke for them when y'all don't have to be around them. They're trying to raise their kid. They we understand y'all want to shame them. She should have did this, that, and there. Okay, well, she's doing what she has to do. You don't if you don't want to contribute to her growth, why are you even talking about it?
What what
So I don't get that.
what age do the kids have to be, and why?
For me, if I meet a man and he has a newborn, absolutely not. That baby is fresh out the last woman's, well, probably not the last woman, but fresh out of the womb of a woman that you just impregnated. And it's an infant. You're going to have to give so much time and energy to that child. I don't want you dating me. You got a whole kid to raise. An infant, a toddler. For me, I'll date a man with kids if those kids are like teenagers, 13, 14, on their way out the house. No baby, no baby mama drama. It's a peaceful co-parenting situation. But I'm not putting myself in a situation dealing with a man that has super small kids because 9 times out of 10, you still dealing with that baby mom. You still dealing with her to some capacity because you just had a baby with her. So that's just my preference.
Yeah, that's why a lot of men try to steer men away from baby mamas. That's why they get a lot of smoke because they try to warn other men, especially when they've been there before. They're like, look,
Sure,
she's still dealing with her baby daddy. Them
sure.
kids are going to come first, as they should. You ain't going to get a lot of attention. It's a thankless job. A lot of those
I don't know about
kids,
that, but
they still going. I mean, I don't know if it's thankless, not all the time, but I have seen
I feel like
like
y'all just start saying
anecdotally.
that. I feel like y'all just start saying that like during the pandemic. Like the burst of Kevin Samuels like boomed all of this
Nah,
rhetoric to just I've never heard step crash dummy. I've never heard
that
thankless
crash dummy.
job as it pertains to a stepfather or a step parent until the pandemic. And that's just me. And the internet was still the internet prior to that. But I did not hear an influx. I didn't hear it in my real life. People were not talking down. It's all new to me. So this whole thankless job, people been stepping up and taking care of other people's kids for centuries. It's really, and then on top of that, y'all have great examples of blended families, of quality men, uh dating women with children, marrying them, and continuing to grow that family. You know,
What great examples?
I mean, I know y'all think Russell Wilson is a lame, but that's a perfect example. He's a quality man, quality guy, met a woman that has a child, loved that child like it was his own, married that woman, and continued to have children with that woman, increase their wealth by doing so.
Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know. Russell Wilson is he's a what man?
What did you say?
You said he's a quality man. What'd you say?
I would say so, yes. A quality man, from what we can see from what he presents. He takes care of his health. He has a solid career. He seems like he loves God. He seems like he's family oriented and puts his family and his wife first. Um, he doesn't have scandals out here. He doesn't have a slew of kids out of wedlock. He's financially secure and stable, continues to grow his wealth, and he seems confident. For me, that's quality.
I wouldn't say he seems confident. That's my only thing. I wouldn't say he seems confident. And
What does confidence look like?
Confidence looks like to me is not. Remember, I
No,
go with
not what it's not. What does it look like? Not what
yeah,
it is
what
not.
it does look like.
Yeah.
So this is part of what it looks like. So for me, it's what I feel or what I know will serve the Black community.
Mhm.
And when you're confident, you don't let your partner do all types of things that I feel are disrespectful.
Like what?
Like your woman outside naked.
When has Ciara been outside naked?
She went to an award show with
Who
a
was she
see-through
with?
dress show with him.
Who?
That's my whole point.
Okay, so
That's my whole point though.
it's so crazy because for me, it's so crazy how men view confidence, especially men on different, levels, because this man, for me, exudes the ultimate confidence because he allows his woman to be. And he met Ciara. First of all, Ciara is an entertainer. She is a model. She is a dancer. He met her when she was gyrating and dancing half naked on TV, half naked in videos. She didn't retire her career when she became married. She continued her career, and her career requires her to dance in booty shorts, to walk runways with her boobs out sometime. When she's dressed half naked, it's not like she outside by herself. She's confidently walking down with her man. There are some men who love that. Some of the most confident men I know love their women to be sexy as hell.
Yeah, exhibitionists and swingers.
Pardon me?
Exhibitionists and swingers. Your woman could be
That's a
sexy.
projection because there's no proof of that.
Your woman, no, exhibitionists and no, I'm not saying that they are. I'm saying exhibitionists and swingers love for their woman to be out parading naked and nude and stuff like that.
No, that you can't. I don't know if you can make that a blanket statement. I think that's also a projection because you don't know everyone.
No, because I don't like that.
And that's you, like, right? Like a woman that dresses that way will never be for you, right? You need a woman that is a little more modest. Her light is a little more dimmer, so you can feel confident. And when it comes to Russell Wilson, he met her while her light was shining, and he added to her light when he met her, and they have been flourishing ever since. I don't see how anybody. And then you said confidence is, being able to be conducive to the Black community. Are they not a great depiction of a Black family?
No.
Okay.
The reason why I say this is because of how she behaves, going outside naked,
her.
twerking on top of the cars.
She's a dancer.
Yeah, but you don't got to twerk on top of a truck at a gas
station. Why not?
Because that's not how young ladies should carry themselves.
Do you want
the next generation of Black girls to do that?
Oh my God. Dr. Jane.
I
know you smarter than that. I know.
Do you?
I know. First of all, there has been gyrating since the very beginning of time. All right. It's been, there's been a lane for salacious movement and twerking and all this and that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
It's entertainment. You're trying to compare a woman that is a A-list celebrity.
I don't know about A.
One of the most, oh no, that's A-list, baby. She's very much so A-list. Very much so A-list. Very much so A-list celebrity who came in the game talking about, I bet you want my goodies. She's always been confident and sexy in her own way. right? A little girl, what y'all be so concerned like these entertainers are responsible for rearing your children. You have the ability to tell your children to have them understand they have to separate entertainment from reality, right? If you really think that entertainers are going to have that much influence on your children, I would ask, are you really raising your kids? Because I can understand, like if you're constantly sitting your kid in front of a TV or a screen all day and all they got is the internet raising them, yeah, you should be worried. But to say that we need to stop entertainers like Ciara because little girls are going to look at her and want to be an entertainer too, or want to dance around too, she is not like younger women. I mean, younger girls obviously should be limited on what they are exposed to as far as media and entertainment. That starts in the home. This woman is a entertainer, been making money. She married a man that is in her world, in her proximity, and loved her. What is so wrong with that? Like, what? Why do you all feel like every woman has to fit in this box
What
in order
box?
for men to feel like men? It's like if a woman is doing too much, I can't be a man. If a woman is too sexy, then I'm all of a sudden
That's not sexy though.
to you,
No, that's not sexy.
to you,
It's all right. Let's say it's not classy.
to you.
No, to be on a red carpet on national TV, see-through dress is not classy. You think
To
that's
you.
classy? So you
First of
think it's
all,
classy?
first of all,
No,
first of
talking about.
all,
Do you think it's classy?
what I think she executed with class. I sure do.
Okay.
She got the body for it. She's a model. She wore the dress. The dress wasn't wearing her. She looked great. And then on top of that, was it not in correspondence with the theme of the event that they were at? Because it's not like she's always wearing super exposed clothing like that when she walk a red carpet. If I'm not mistaken, and we can fact check this, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that dress was in adjacent to whatever event that they were at. So give
Now
him
Russell Wilson had on a regular suit.
he's a guy. All of the when you go to the Met Gala, you would think unless you are a really elaborate fashion dude already, all the guys at the Met Gala, one of the most high fashion events of all time, all of them are going to look like they're in the same suit.
Nah, there be dudes there, like you said, be dudes there like Prince that got their butt cheeks out. So
Like I said, if unless you are already a man that's into high fashion and into clothing, you're going to look like you're wearing a regular suit at the highest fashion events. But when it comes to women, and when it comes to women like Ciara, it's different. And she ain't built for every man, clearly. Like every man can't take a woman that is just like, what's up? Every man needs, some men need women to be boxed up and quiet and head down.
Jazz, would you wear the dress that Ciara was wearing? Would you wear that dress out?
Yeah, I would. I got body though. I look good. And I have a man, that loves to look at my body. Now, would I wear that outside by myself? No. I would
Why
not
not?
not me. No,
Why
not
not?
it would have to be a situation. It would have to be a situation where she was at, it has to match the theme. Like if I'm in Vegas, if I'm in Miami, if I'm in Jamaica, if I'm doing something like that and I'm amongst, my homegirls. But just going out by myself like that, no. Unfortunately, women aren't able to wear certain things because men don't have self-control most of the time. So we have to
Men don't
police
have
what we wear.
self-control.
Well, isn't that why women have to police what they wear?
No.
Because there are some men out there
No, that's
that
not why.
just can't help themselves.
That's not why.
Oh, then why?
Because of respecting yourselves. Just like a man shouldn't wear anything, a woman shouldn't wear just anything. That's like, would you want your man to walk the red carpet in a Speedo?
Listen to what you just said. Want my man to walk the red carpet in the Speedo. First of all, do we know what type of red carpet event this is? Is it a
It's the
Speedo
same type
event?
of one Ciara was on that where
Like,
she had to be half naked.
Like I said, if the theme matched the outfit, I don't have a problem with it.
Mm.
She's not going to the grocery store exposing herself like that. She's an entertainer at an event. What's the big deal? I don't get it. I don't get it. And then y'all want Russell to be mad at her so bad. Like Russell Wilson
I don't
is
want
a,
him to be mad at her.
but y'all are framing it as if like she's just totally disrespecting him. Meanwhile, he is loving it. Meanwhile, he's under every post that she posts, like baby number 5 right now. He is. There are men who are confident enough to have confident women. You know what I'm saying? Like that are okay. My man is the most quiet, out the way kind of guy, and y'all know I'm not that at all.
So it's
And I'm not a person that dresses
time
overtly.
out.
Go ahead.
It's okay because he loves it.
Yes.
So,
Why
well,
does she have to live for your
if
opinion?
someone loves abuse, it's okay.
That's not the same thing.
No, but I'm just following your line of reasoning with it. If he
But how
loves
is
it,
that?
it's
How
okay.
does abuse? Who loves abuse?
There are people who love abuse.
How would that correlate with a woman dressing confidently on a red carpet?
That's not confidently, but it correlates because
According to you.
you said if he loves it, it's okay.
Why wouldn't it be? If her man, her husband, enjoys watching her glow. Ciara has always been this. She's been consistent. She's always been sexy. Always been doing all of the things, wearing the shorts, shaking the titties, always doing it. He still married that because he liked that. And
So
he's not with her to dim her light. He's with her to help her shine. And the proof is in the pudding.
so
The
if someone
proof is showing that he walks confidently down the red carpet with her, like, yeah, look at my lady. Look at her.
so if
She is the bomb.
someone has Stockholm syndrome, then it's okay.
So why are we talking about abuse now?
Because
Abuse is not the same as a man having confidence in his woman for what she's wearing. I don't understand the correlation.
you said it's okay if he loves it.
What's
So
wrong with loving your woman dressing confidently? Who is that harming?
so if the person loves it, it's okay.
If it's not harming the person, what's wrong with it?
Well, what's harming the person if they love it? Well, how does it
What?
classify as harming? If someone's being abused, if someone
That's
is being,
harmful. That's harmful.
even if they love it,
A person that thinks being abused is love is not that's not love. That's not love. They're not loving being beat the fuck up, Dr. James. They are in love with the idea that what they're with is a man that may not beat them up anymore, and they're letting the love for that person override the abuse and accepting the abuse because of the love they have. You're comparing a woman staying in an abusive relationship for all of the reasons, and we can walk that down too if you want, to a man loving a woman who dressed confidently. A man hitting a woman is harmful to her and harmful to himself. A man loving a woman that dresses confidently does no harm to anybody.
that's not the comparison.
That is the comparison.
That's not what I'm comparing.
You're comparing a man loving a woman that dresses half naked to a woman loving abuse.
That's not the comparison.
Okay, break down the comparison again. You know
I'm
slow.
comparing a man, for one, who doesn't put his foot down. For two, a man who lets his woman go out there and disrespect herself. Him loving her, disrespecting herself. I'm comparing that to abuse. Just because the person loves it doesn't mean it's okay.
Who are
if
you
a person
say?
goes outside and they half naked, or if a person goes outside and he makes her hit the strip and he allows her to sleep with other men and he loves it, that doesn't mean it's
those are two totally different things, Dr. James.
No, but people do that and they love it.
That's a different type of love. You're saying that he shouldn't love what Ciara is and how she presents herself while she's with him. By the way, He was holding her hand down that red carpet because you believe her behavior. You believe that her behavior is disrespectful to him. You believe that he's not putting his foot down and he needs to be doing that. Who cares what you believe? He's married.
He don't have to care.
Exactly. And what you're saying is irrelevant because their relationship is not on the fritz because of what she's wearing. Her being herself and wearing what she wants to wear is not harming their relationship, but it's pissing y'all off because y'all feel
I'm not pissed off at all.
You are because you're making it seem like he's not putting his foot down. That's really
I'm not pissed off though.
Putting his foot down.
I swear, the only time I bring this up, I can't remember the last time I even thought of Russell Wilson or Ciara before this. It's just a good example to bring up.
I don't know if you made it.
You said Ciara's came in the game confident.
Did she not?
So she was confident when she was getting ran through by all them celebrities.
Name them. Who are the celebrities she got?
Bow Wow, 50 Cent.
She had a boyfriend, one boyfriend. She had one boyfriend. Wait. It's not that Future. Wait a minute. So this is her and Bow Wow met each other when they were both 18, 19. We're talking about two entertainers within the same proximity, right? 18, 19 years old. They dated.
Maury Stoudemire.
They dated. So they dated. All right. They dated. People date, do they not? People have relationships, do they not? They met when they were young in the game, both young entertainers. They both had a relationship. They broke up. Everybody not meant to be. Time goes on, just like a normal person does. They date somebody else and see if it works out for them. Didn't work out with them. Now, mind you, he ain't get to a baby until she was engaged to Future. And when she realized that Future wasn't shit, she got up out of there, never looked back, upgraded her whole entire life. And y'all still mad at that. And the fact that you're saying that this woman was ran through when she was literally, from what we can see, was dating like a normal human being. As far as we know, the lady has had 4 partners. As far as we know, maybe 5, because you said Bow Wow, 50 Cent, Amari Stoudemire, Future, and now Russell. And she's how old now? And now you want to say, and now you want to say that she's been ran through. Listen to how y'all view women.
No, listen. So which one of those boyfriends? And the whole dating thing don't matter because if you date 20 dudes and you got 20 bodies, then
she only got 5.
No, but I'm saying because you said dated. Which one of those boyfriends before Russell Wilson are like Russell Wilson?
Thank God, none of them, obviously.
Okay, that's 1. 2. So she had to get pregnant by Future to realize Future wasn't shit.
Maybe so.
Come on now.
Maybe so. But the thing is,
Future had how many kids before?
Listen, I agree. That was not the ideal person to have a baby with, but she learned from that one time and didn't make the same mistake twice. She didn't go to another rapping ass nigga and have another baby with him. She didn't have another baby with Future when she realized that she was not. And then also, please don't forget, she didn't have a baby by him or allow herself to get knocked up until he put a ring on her finger. She was engaged to Future. They were planning to get married. So it wasn't like she was on some weird baby mama stuff. But the thing is that it takes experience to evolve and grow. She realized that these men, these rappers and entertainers like she is, those don't work for her. So she stopped at Future, the one that told her that he was going to marry her, but ended up fucking her over, or whatever the case may be. She left him and she went and got better, which is what y'all always say to do. Pick better, pick better, pick better. She did.
No, we say there's a difference between picking better, because a lot of women pick better for the second person.
So,
but why don't you do that the first time?
Did you pick the best woman for you the first time you lay down and had sex? Did you?
I'm talking about get pregnant by.
No, it doesn't matter, because if
yes, I did. The first time I laid down and had sex,
Oh, you were the first woman you ever had sex with. You married her and had a family with her?
I was too young.
But what do you mean? But you had sex when you.
You're talking about a minor.
What do you? Oh my God. Okay.
I was a
Okay.
minor.
So in your adult relationship, since you want to play
You
semantics.
said first one,
All
and she
right.
was the best one for
I
me
was
at the
not
time.
thinking
Yes.
about. I was not thinking about when we were 15, 16 years old, Dr. James. I'm talking about your first real adult relationship. Are you married to that woman? The first one that you got, was she the right one for you? Or did you have to go through a couple to get to the right one? Because that's life.
No, but it's
Sometimes
different. It's
you
different
have
when
to
you
no,
marriage is having a kid is a bigger step than marriage. We agree?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, then. So I don't have a kid. The
Okay.
one I have a kid with is, I bet you that's the last one.
Okay, and so and that's you. Why y'all so perfect? Like it's so
Thank you.
crazy to me. Like y'all feel like this is how she should have did it. Shouldn't she have had the baby by the first one? Like who the frick are y'all to try to judge someone's life on and the decisions that they made? Her history has shown she learned from it and never made the same mistake twice. But instead of acknowledging that, you want to talk about, well, why she ain't have the baby by the first time. Sometimes life happens the way that it does. And it's not about what you do in the moment, it's how you respond to it. She ended up having a baby with a man she was engaged with. So she obviously thought this man was turning a tide for her because he ain't do it for the other last women. He was showing her, I'm actually going to marry her. And he ended up cheating on her anyway. She left. She left that man and didn't date anybody else again until she was perfectly aligned. She did the right thing. Everybody doesn't make the right decision the first time they try something. It
All right.
takes it takes time to grow. Like, come on now,
All
stop
right.
this
Here's a great
perfectionism.
segue into this. So, what are some red flags in dating?
This shit right here.
What are some red flags in dating?
Red flags in dating. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not on the dating scene right now. Are you?
No, but
I don't know. I don't know. I guess from what
I know
can
red flags though.
I guess from what I can see, okay. Okay, I'll give you a red flag. Like my homegirl, she posted in her story or a close friend or something, and it was a text message of a guy that was acting like he was interested in her, but never was planning anything. Just hitting her up with a good morning, beautiful. She'll say good morning back, nothing else. Then the next day, how you doing, beautiful? When am I gonna see you? Oh, I don't know. You tell me. Nothing else. Oh, what's up, beautiful? That's a red flag. That's an easy way for you to get ghosted because you're wasting time. You're having useless conversations. You're not being intentional. So I think not being intentional is a red flag in dating right now. Yeah, for sure. When you're just hitting people up just to see if you can get some attention for a second instead of, hey, how are you? I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Are you free on Friday? Y'all, and it's funny because another red flag I think is this red pill shit. I know y'all gonna hate me, but it's sending y'all off. I hate to break it to you, baby, but it is running the women away
What's red pill?
because
What is that?
the red pill.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, you don't know what that is, and we ain't gotta talk about it. But I just know that there are a lot of men that tell other men very toxic ways on how to deal with women in the dating scene today, and they think that it will get them women when it's doing the literal opposite. And I think when men start to look at women as human beings and let go of the ego a little bit, they'll have better luck in dating. Because right now it's all about not getting played and you need a six pack and you need all this money. It's nothing about a man's character. It's nothing about their moral compass. It's nothing about their personality. Y'all are on dates like, well, are you going to come home with me tonight? I just bought you a shrimp salad. Are you going to come lay down with me? Those are the red flags. Y'all don't know how to be normal. anymore. It's all about my guard is up and I'm only looking to see what I can take from the situation, not what I can give.
So
And
you're saying
who's gonna play
you're
who
s-
first?
you're
Weird.
saying, let me see if I'm getting this right. Men are going on dates and they're eager for sex.
Oh, 1000%. All you got to do is go search TikTok. And I'm not even on the TikTok, but when you go and you put in like modern dating, it's going to be a slew of videos of women in real life situations on first dates being berated by the men that they're with, first encounters, because the guy didn't tell. I saw one video, the guy snapped on the girl because she didn't tell him that she was on her period on the first date. And we all know why he was offended, because he assumed she was going to get some pussy afterwards. That's weird. Y'all are acting weird. That's why the women are clocking out and saying, like, you know what? I don't know.
Well, what do you think of manizers?
What's that? A manizer? What's that? That's the first I've
Do you
ever
know
heard
what
of that.
do you know what a womanizer is?
No, tell me.
Oh, I would thought you would have known what a
I
womanizer is.
don't. Enlighten me.
How they say a man is a womanizer if he like seeks to like take advantage of women and
Mhm.
maybe use them just for sexual intercourse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So a manizer is the female version
Hmm.
of that, where like how women will go out on a date with a guy but they're not interested, but they just want
Hmm.
free food, or they want to go to this restaurant, or they want to, oh yeah, fly me out, we could go on vacation to this place, but they never have intentions of doing anything. They're not really interested, but they want a free meal or a free trip, or they just wanted to go see this movie, or or they just wanted to do this activity and try out this new place. So they know that this guy gives them access to it, even though they're not interested in it. So they say, "Hey, what's up, big head? You want to go to dinner?" And he's like,
No.
"Yeah," he's interested. So he's like, "Yeah, I'll take you out tonight." And then they go to dinner or whatever, and they go to, I don't know, whatever activity that she wanted to do. Um, and then it's like, okay, bye, had a good time. See you later.
And
What do
he's
you
like, well, where's my pussy? Where's
well,
my pussy? I
what
took
do
you
you
to
think of
dinner.
those women that do that with no interest in the guy?
Um, so I am 35 plus. All right. I am above 35. This type of stuff, if men are my age still getting used for dinner dates, that's some shit that women and men were doing when I was 18, 19, 20, you know, young as hell. And just like, okay, I'll go on a date, whatever. It wasn't okay to do then, but I'm definitely not doing no shit like that now. Are men really entertaining women that don't like them? Because for me, at this age, past a certain age, when you pursue a woman, there's a time of communication before leading up to the first date, is it not? There should be. So you should be communicating with this woman on her likes, her interests. She should be doing the same for you. You all should be talking about seeing if you all have anything in common, so you can figure out what a good first date might be based on that conversation alone before you even get to the dinner. And another thing, guys, there are more things to do on dates outside of dinner. I hope you guys know that one thing you guys are lacking is creativity in dating. And once y'all get past thinking that every date belongs at a dinner table, you'll be great. But anyway, as far as that goes, you would know if you even like this girl or not. You would know if she likes you or not. You want to know how? Because leading up to that dinner date, right? She's going to show interest by being reciprocal to your energy. If you showing up and communicating every day and showing genuine interest outside of sex, not sexting, not talking about her what colors her nipples are, fucking weirdos, all right? Not doing anything like that. If you're genuinely showing interest, by the time you get to that date, you're not going to feel like you're going to be used. You're going to feel excited to show up to that date because you know your time is not going to be wasted. You have learned this woman enough where you all have common interests. Y'all been talking on the phone, so you know you're going to talk it up at the date. Y'all both like this kind of food. So now when we go, we're just enjoying each other's company. There's nobody with a chip on their shoulder, like, I don't really like her, but I'm here and she better give me some sex afterwards. And there's no chip on the woman's shoulder saying, like, I don't really like him, but I'm hungry. No grown ass woman is doing that. And if honestly, if I'm being real, grown women, grown mature women, if they want a free meal or a free good time, we're going to call our homegirls. We're going to call our homegirls because our homegirls, because baby, when me and my girlfriends get together, we run the check up. When I go out to eat by myself before a date is even involved, I'll go in there, I'll spend a bag on myself. So I think men need to
Mhm.
get out of this hyperfixation on getting used for a dinner date to justify why they need to be entitled to sex. Start dating women that actually like you, and the sex will come naturally. But stop thinking that you deserve access to a woman's body just because you bought her a meal. Like, is that the best you can do?
So those women that use men are horrible people.
Anybody that uses anybody is a horrible person. Yes.
Okay. So because there's a lot of women out there, and it's hard for a man to identify all the time someone's motives. So you could be talking to someone and they could seem interested because the whole point is to use you. They know you have a certain income or something like that, and this expensive 5-star restaurant, or they want to go on some fancy trip, and they know it's just a part of your lifestyle. So they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk to this person and I'm gonna do it. And then when you go to, the fancy restaurant or whatever, because it's second nature to you, it's a part of your lifestyle. Or you just say, I'm going to wherever this week, I'm going to Costa Rica this week, want to come? You guys have been talking 3-4 weeks and you're like, oh, it's 3-4 weeks, so, but it's just a part of my lifestyle. Sure, you can come. She's not really interested in you, but she takes the trip. So sometimes it's hard for a guy to notice it until we're in the moment. And then once you're in the moment,
Same
you
for
get the
women.
person there, you like, dang, oh,
Same
she
for
just
women.
wanted a meal. She just wanted to come here. So
Yeah, no, I think both men and women, that's life, baby. That's the luck of the draw. That's the roll of the die. It You have to get in the game to win it. And I'm saying that everybody is playing a game, but we don't really know people's intentions until we know people's intentions. But what are your intentions going into the situation? Are your intentions pure? Are you really looking to get to know this woman? Or are you being performative because you think it's going to get you access to her vagina? What are your intentions? That's what I'm a big proponent on. Like, are you really being intentional about this interaction, or do you really, when it boils down to it, you just want some sex? And if you just want some sex, baby, it's a whole prostitute. There are women that will pay you for access, and you ain't gotta worry about nothing. You ain't gotta worry about getting used. Ain't no robbery and a fair exchange.
can I tell you a secret, Jazz?
I don't know.
Well, it's not even really a secret. Well, I've spoken about it before, and I think it's known. But that's why the red flags are important, and that's why how a woman presents herself in public is important. There was a lady, I forget the name of the lady. She said the single you is the married you. So men look at how a woman carries herself while she's single and say, how would she carry herself in a relationship, or how would she carry herself, married? So men, 99% of us, most of us, don't
No,
want a woman,
don't
don't
do
want a
don't
woman out here walking around naked.
don't throw percentages out here because you don't even know 10% of men in America. You don't even know 5%. You don't even
If
know
you
3. So
so
don't,
you but
to
if you ask
assume.
men, do you just you're right, that's not a statistic, but do you think, in your honest opinion, most men, more than 50% of men, want their woman walking around naked?
The first of all, Sierra wasn't even naked.
I'm not talking
Nobody
about
wants
Ciara.
their. I know, but that's where this is stemming from because y'all said that she was naked and she wasn't.
No,
Nobody
she had a
wants.
see-through dress on.
Okay,
So do you
nobody
well, all
wants.
right, so let's use that one then. Do you think most men want their woman walking around with a see-through dress
It
on?
depends on the man.
No, most.
It depends on the man. I don't know most men. I don't know. I
Mm.
don't know. I think certain
Do you
men.
think most women enjoy getting punched in the face?
Do you enjoy getting punched in the face, Dr. James?
No, that's not the question.
Well, what kind of question is that? Nobody
I'm a
enjoys
martial
that.
artist. Huh?
Nobody enjoys that. The fuck?
You don't. Nobody out of 7.8
Who
billion
enjoys getting
people in
punched
the
in the
world.
face? Outside of a UFC fighter, outside of a boxer, who enjoys just randomly getting punched in the face, Dr. James? Like, what are we talking about?
Sadist.
So are we
And
talking about sadists now?
people who
Masochists?
are attracted to pain.
Masochists, you mean?
There's another term for it.
We're not talking about that.
You said who enjoys it? They enjoy it.
Oh my God! But how many people? A majority of us aren't masochists. A majority of us don't want to be punched in our faces and enjoy that. Come on now, that was a silly comparison. Come on
No,
now, there
because
are some men out here that are okay with their women wearing a see-through dress. I don't know of the majority of men, but if you are the type of man that don't, then seek the woman that already is presenting herself that way. Don't seek
yeah.
the woman. Okay, so leave the women that do present that way for the men who will appreciate it and stop condemning the other ones when you don't even want them. Why are y'all going up to women who are appearing? Because you're saying that women should consider what they're wearing in public, because it could be some man that could be looking at her that she's unaware about, that can be looking at her and say, oh, she's a wife. Oh, maybe she's a wife. Because clothing is a clear depiction of what a good wife is, right?
Yes. So let me ask you this, Jazz.
So you think a woman's clothing?
Hold on. No, I got to ask this question.
That's
so there's
so
no
silly.
way a man could present himself in his clothing that would be a red flag to you?
You're comparing the traits of a good husband to what he is wearing. You're comparing the traits of a good wife to what you meet her wearing. You're assuming that if she's fully covered, she's going to make a great wife.
No,
you're
not.
Assuming. Yeah, you are.
No.
Because then why would a woman have to care what she's wearing?
It's not going to get to her being a wife if she's
maybe not
naked.
To you. Maybe not to you.
No, but I just asked you, is there anything? So there's nothing there's no way a man can present himself physically to you that would be a red flag.
I mean, of course.
Like what?
I don't know, like just looking like you don't care about yourself, like looking unkept, like you don't care about your appearance, you don't care about looking presentable. You don't have to be dressed.
What's looking presentable?
Presentable meaning clean, not disheveled, not looking like you just rolled out of bed and didn't give a fuck. Like you look like a decent, presentable human being. You ain't got to be dressed to the nines. You ain't got to be dressed in designer, but you should look presentable and look like you care about your health.
So if a man sags his pants to his kneecaps, you're fine with that?
Oh my God, that is so stupid.
How? That's how he wears his pants, and there are men who wear their pants like that. We know that, right?
I don't.
Down to his knees.
Down to his knees, Dr. James. How many men you know?
Lower waist, thighs.
No,
thighs.
I date grown men that wear suits.
No, it's not about you. If a man,
but you just asked me.
Yeah, but I'm talking about. So if you saw a man on social media and his pants are by his thighs,
not my type. Maybe for somebody else.
Why is he not your type?
Because I like my men to wear his pants above his ass.
So you're assuming he's not good husband material because his pants are by his thighs.
I'm not assuming anything. I'm not
exactly. That's what I wasn't.
I'm not giving any assumption to a man that I can physically see that I am not attracted to.
Exactly.
And
this is what I'm saying. I talk to men all the time. I'm a man, black men. And when we go in these spaces, the conversation is, we are not attracted to women who present themselves
showing too much
bodily body.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I just said.
What you said.
I'm not making any assumptions off of any man who I already don't find attractive. That means I'm not giving him any energy. That means that I am not sizing him up to be a wife, anything with, or a husband, anything for me. So for a man to look at a woman and already see that she is not presenting herself to the way that you feel should be presented as a wife for you, and you still give that woman energy, something's wrong there. Because you have the choice to say, I prefer the type of woman that I like to wear this and she's not wearing that. She may be attractive, but because she's wearing a dress that's a little too short, I'm going to pass. You can do that. The problem is y'all not passing on these women. Y'all are still trying to pursue these women and then trying to change them.
Who trying who?
I don't know, but I don't know, because if these women are already not presenting themselves physically in the way that they're clothed for you to even consider them as their wives, why are you even giving them energy?
I'll tell you. Want me to tell you why?
Go give women the energy that you find respectable.
I'll tell you why. Because this goes back to what we're saying before, how we started off with how we need Black men and women together. If all the Black men were out there wearing their pants to their thighs, and you don't find it attractive, and I know most women, even though I don't know most women, I'm going to hypothesize that most grown women don't want a grown man who's wearing his pants at his thighs. Then how can we have them come together if women see Black men presenting themselves that way and they're turned off? So because in the same scenario, when I flip it, if I can hypothesize that most Black men don't want their woman outside showing too much cleavage or too much ass or whatever, if they're turned off about that, then they're not going to approach that. And then how are we bringing the Black man and Black woman together?
Guess what, Dr. James? Every woman is not outside wearing her ass out. Where are you at where you're constantly around women that are dressed in scantily clad? Where are y'all? Because y'all are making it seem like every single woman you see when you go outside got their ass and titties out waiting to be smacked. So if that's not the case, why are you obsessing about them if you know there's a whole other group of women that are fully covered, that you can approach the same way, that you know that they're out there? Just like what you're saying is, because we both know that's not the majority. That's not the majority of Black men. So if there are Black men that got their pants hanging down to their ass, they're not for me, but there may be a woman out there for him. But I'm not going to give him energy because I don't like that. But there may be another woman that does. There aren't a bunch of men out here in my proximity. The men that I'm around know how to dress like grown men. So I'm not obsessing about the guys that are wearing their pants below their ass. What point would be, why would I give that energy? So for the men, if you are intelligent enough to know that there are a bunch of women out here that do not dress scandalously clad or in a way that you don't respect, then go and find those women. Where y'all be at? Are y'all constantly in the strip club? Are you constantly walking down a damn host road? Are you constantly walking down Miami? Are you constantly surrounding yourself with low quality women that don't know how to dress? Because if that were the case, this wouldn't even be a conversation, because you would be in proximity to women that you respect.
No, it's like this. A topic that
y'all complaining about things that you don't even need to be complaining about, because there are women that are fully dressed out here. So why do you care what the half-dressed woman is wearing?
So just because
you don't want her.
So what we do is we address things that are problematic or we see as problematic. Even if it's a low percentage, it's about what's going to best serve the Black community. So one thing that I bash heavy on is like gangbanging. Now, gangbanging within the Black community is a small percentage if you look at it percentage-wise. Even when you look at the prison system, the amount of Black people incarcerated, we have a small percentage-wise. With there being 43 million Black Americans and like 600,000 are incarcerated. So that's a small percentage when you look at it percentage-wise, but we still have to attack what's getting them incarcerated. When we look at the drug usage, it's a small percentage-wise, but we still have to attack that. And like I said, with the gangbanging, it's always a small percentage when we look at it on a national or global scale, but we have to attack what's problematic to see what's going to best serve our community in the long run. So we address things, even if it's a small percentage, like you saying, oh, well, those are those women, but there's a whole bunch of women out here who are wearing clothing and stuff like that. But we still have to attack the problematic issue.
Why do you feel like you need to attack a subset of women that are not adversely affecting You. That a woman, a subset of
Yes.
woman that is dressing a certain type of way, how is that harming the community? How is that tearing down the community? How?
Because
Because she's wearing shorts?
no, not if she's wearing just shorts. If you walking around with your ass out. So
That's not happening
if
on
you
a regular basis,
I
Dr.
don't
James.
that I already said it's a small
But
percentage.
why are we giving a small percentage of things all of this energy? When if the small percentage is not making a major impact, then what's the point? We're
No, it
gonna
does.
have we're
It
gonna always have small percentage of degeneracy in every single society, in every
mhm.
single hierarchy, in every single community. There's always going to be a small percentage of people that are just going to be doing crazy shit. But if that small percentage is not negatively impacting the community as a whole, then who gives a fuck? Like a girl that is dressing with her ass out is not stopping me from dating a black man. Is which is the start of creating a nuclear black family. A man with his pants down is not stopping me from loving a black man. Like I don't understand how you're trying to
it's
say clothing is the biggest issue of our community.
I didn't say it's the biggest issue. I never
An
said that.
issue at all.
It is
An
no
issue at
how someone
all.
presents themselves it can be an issue.
But
And some
the
people are presenting
presentation is
themselves
not the
wrong.
representation of everybody.
No, but we need to fix those who are
And how do
presenting
you fix?
themselves wrong.
So what do you do when you see a woman with her ass out? Do you go up to her and you shame her and tell her go put some clothes on? How do you fix
No,
it?
I get on here and do it, but what I do is I'm an
And you think they're
educator.
listening? You think they're
Huh?
listening and say, you know what, Dr. James told me to put some clothes on. Let me go ahead and do it. You really
Yeah,
think
but I'm
you
still
really
gonna say
think
it.
you really think
But
the judgment of your stance is helping these women that you think need help, need
What
your
I
help.
do, what I do is I focus on the next generation. So I focus
Okay.
on the teenagers, the young boys, the young
Is
girls.
your
And
audience teenagers?
huh?
Is your audience, you say you don't go up to people in public. You only come on the internet and talk this shit.
No, no, and
So,
no, you missed the part of me being an educator.
okay. So you rear up children in your life outside of the internet.
Yeah, on a daily
I'm okay with
basis.
that.
Yeah, I'm around hundreds of kids on a daily basis who I'm telling them to present themselves this way. I'm telling young
I'm okay
boys
with that.
how to tie a tie, how to present themselves, how to wear their pants.
Love
Don't
that.
sag your pants.
Yes.
Young girls, present yourself this way. Hey, too much skin showing. Don't do that. Don't do this. How you carry yourself is important. You want someone to respect your brain. Don't show them too much booty. Stuff like this is what I present to them because this is the problem. You can't go
Even if you
and
don't
it's
show your
crazy
booty, men
how
rarely respect women's brains. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, if someone is like because it's like a sense of delulu. If some woman will be, you will be. It's like when women set thirst traps and they act like they don't know they set a thirst trap. Like
Again,
if a woman goes on her Instagram and she spread eagle in a thong, and then she like say, "I don't know why all these men in my DM, y'all all y'all think about is sex." It's like, what do you want them to think about?
why are you thinking about that though? That is my biggest question. Why are you thinking about some girl who's choosing to have a spread eagle on her Instagram? Get that out your algorithm. You're not going to change her. You're not. And why do you care so much how she's complaining about? Because you're right. You put yourself out there. Don't get mad if you get a certain type of attention that you don't want. But that is not your problem to fix. That is
Yeah, it
not
is.
your issue. It's not.
It
What
is.
what I think where you are getting it right is helping the youth. You cannot tell no grown ass woman or no grown ass man what to do.
No, I'm
You
not saying I'm going to tell them that. I'm not going to say.
but
I'm not saying
shaming
I'm.
them, judging them is not helping.
But that's an example of what not to do for the next generation.
Okay, so you go up and you go to your girls in your school and you show up a baddie's Instagram and say, "Hey girls, don't do this.
No,
Don't be."
I would never
Okay.
show them that because then that's showing
Okay,
them.
so
But if they were to bring if they bring someone to me that they look up to, and I know that the person is detrimental or the person, I'm like, that's not how you present yourself. Then I correct that way.
okay, if you find I'm all for, because one thing about me, I'm not. I'm not here to change no grown ass person.
Hmm.
Go being so hyped up on we need to change the small subset of women that like to wear their ass out because y'all don't even want those women though. So it's like it doesn't
Yeah, a
matter.
hoe gonna be a hoe. You gotta let a hoe go.
So leave the hoes alone. Leave the
Exactly.
hoes alone.
Right.
Why are you obsessed about them? Like, why are we even talking about the hoes? Why are we even talking about the hoes? The
Because
hoes
it's
don't make up everybody. The hoes are not a representation of the Black community. Y'all are so
they
sex
sure aren't.
crazed. Y'all are so sex obsessed and so sex crazed. You can't even have the conversation without bringing up whole culture. What do you really think bringing up whole culture and talking about it constantly is bringing Black people closer together, which is ultimately what you said your goal is?
Yeah, we have to bring up things that need to be corrected.
Okay, so you're saying the priority of bringing Black women and Black men together is
No,
demonizing whole culture.
I'm not saying that's the priority. No.
So what is the priority? Because right now we've just spent 30 minutes on about Sierra's clothing and how men want women to dress. Then it turned into how hoes dress and how we need to stop the hoes. Then it's like, well, we ain't gonna talk to the hoes. We just gonna talk to the youth. None of that is
The
conducive to growth.
priority, the priority is the Black nuclear family because everything starts at home. So
Okay.
I talk about this in my book, and this is why I said in the beginning why dating is so important. Because if we can't even agree on key variables, key topics to bring us together, we can't form the Black nuclear family. Everything starts at home. We have to have the Black man, Black woman, Black child together, and we need strong individuals who are educated. And I'm not talking about like educated on the books. You could be autodidactic and you can know your history and know what will allow us to thrive. So I believe the Black man, the Black woman together under gender roles, specific roles together, certain things can be for either gender, but certain things I think should be gender specific and have foundational teachings of how to carry yourself, be educated, be healthy, take care of our health. That's at the core of this issue. That's the key thing there. To have a strong family with foundation, under my belief, would be rooted under God, following those teachings, those principles, um, and that's what will allow us to thrive if we move forward like that. Not having children out of wedlock, not gang banging, not none of the negatives. That's what I'm saying. None of the negatives. If we could do that, then that would allow us to thrive. So that's why
So
I say we
be
address the negatives.
so, but you have no solution for the negatives. You're just
I do
addressing
have
them.
solutions.
So how do we stop whole culture?
Um, by doing what I'm doing now, working with the next um generation. But one of the key things is if we have strong families with a mother and a father, because women who are promiscuous, and that is statistical, they usually come from fatherless households. Children from fatherless households are more likely to be a victim of SA. They're more likely to commit a violent crime, more likely to be a victim of a violent
Why are
crime.
there so many
They're more
fathers
likely
out
to
the
be,
household?
huh?
Why are so many fathers out the household? Did they all get pushed out?
Did they all get pushed out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like,
So
you're
you
you're
want me to
saying
answer why they're out of the
I'm
household?
sure it's all women's fault, right?
No, it's not all women's fault. It's white supremacy had a role in that. As you know, the man in the house rule that came in the late 1960s
Okay.
played
We're
a role
talking
in that.
about modern day times, and I agree. We're talking about
Okay.
modern day times. We still have an epidemic of fatherless homes. What's keeping
Hmm.
them out? Can't say it's white supremacy anymore. Nobody is there. There's no men in the house rule now. So are you saying all the men of
Well,
modern day times are in the home are being pushed out because what?
no, not all of them are being pushed out because of that. Some men are deadbeats. Some men are deadbeats,
How do we
but
stop the
some of it,
deadbeat epidemic?
huh?
How do we stop the deadbeat epidemic?
I don't know if it's an epidemic
Okay,
because
how do we stop deadbeat fathers?
uh, who we choose as fathers, just like who we
No, no, no,
choose
no,
as
no.
mothers.
How do we stop deadbeat fathers? Because a deadbeat is a character trait, right? So what's going on with men's character where when they drop their seed somewhere, they have a propensity to leave it where it's at, to abandon it. Not all, because I fuck with Black fathers. I know y'all involved in your children's lives.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are a lot of men across races in general who find themselves falling into coochie, laying their seeds, and just walking out for them to be left to grow alone.
Well,
How
I
do
don't care
we
about the
stop
other
that?
races.
How do we fix that? How do we fix the problem with men sometimes being very reckless with their seed? Do you think that's a problem at all? Do you think that could help stop baby mama culture?
I don't care about the other races, but as far as Black men, um, there are some who are deadbeats, but men don't just become a deadbeat overnight. Like
Oh, a woman made him a deadbeat?
no, a woman didn't make him a deadbeat, but that's what I was talking about. That's why I brought up red flags. If men who have certain level of income, certain level of education, certain occupations, certain things make a man less likely to be a deadbeat, less likely to get a divorce. All of things are can be statistically proven. So why are women choosing certain men who give red
No.
flags to
See,
begin with?
see, this
And
is
no, look, not to
this is
escape
part
it.
of the
No, not to
problem.
escape it. Not to escape it.
But you
Because like
are.
I
You're
said,
ultimately
no, I'm
putting
not.
the onus on
No,
the woman,
no,
and I'm
no, I'm
asking
not.
you.
No, I'm not. Because look, what I said is
You just did.
it all begins. You said it's a character trait. I'm not a deadbeat. I would never be a
You're
deadbeat.
saying if a man is a deadbeat, it's because a woman made him one.
No, that's not what I never said that.
Okay, so what are you
But
saying?
what I was alluding to was
Can you
saying
talk about it
who
without
she
mentioning a
chose.
woman? Can you talk
But look,
about a deadbeat without mentioning a woman?
yeah, it's real simple. So I was raised by my father, my biological father. He raised me. He instilled it in me. So I saw what a father is supposed to do. He raised me. He taught me how to fix cars. He taught me how to tie a tie. He taught me how to pick out a suit. Uh, he taught me what hard work was. I used to go to work with my father. So that's what I'm getting back to with the Black nuclear family. A lot of these men who you were talking about are deadbeats. 9 times out of 10, they didn't have a biological father.
Not true. Not true. Y'all pull stats. The stats
So
and like the things that y'all say are all projections and
that's not a
ideology.
projection because I had my father.
No, what I'm saying is you're saying that repeat the last thing you just said.
The
You just
last thing I just said was
you
like
said go ahead.
it's more than likely when you see a man who's a deadbeat, he didn't have his father.
Okay, that's the part. Where's your proof of that?
Okay, let's see if we could pull some up from this. If
Where's your
there's
proof
any
of that?
data.
Because I have known men that have had involved fathers in their life and still end up as deadbeats.
You could
Where's
know,
the
man, but let's just use this. Let's just use
and again,
our
that also
own
goes back to why aren't the fathers in the home raising their sons to be responsible with their bodies and with their seed? Because what you're ultimately trying to do, Dr. James, you're trying to say it's still on a woman.
No, it's not. That
He
wouldn't be
wasn't
on a
made
woman.
overnight. I'm trying to unpack what is it about the male psyche, regardless of what a woman is doing, regardless of how a woman is behaving, where they think that it is responsible to have unprotected sex just because what y'all ultimately saying is that we run y'all. We're in charge.
No.
Right? No, because what y'all always love to say is, well, she shouldn't have opened her legs. She shouldn't have opened her legs. Just because she opened her legs, that means you have to drop a raw seed in her. So just because a woman gives you access to her body and you know you don't want a kid, you don't have the self restraint and the discipline to say, I'm not having sex with this woman unless we wear a condom. Oh, it's okay. Well, she let me do it. So I had to do it. No, you didn't. So I'm trying to figure out what is it about the male psyche where they feel like, well, if she let me do it, I should do it. If you know you walking into a bedroom with a woman and you don't even respect her enough to make you her wife, but you still willing to lay down and have a unprotected sex with her, that's not on that woman. That's a conscious choice that you made. And if you want to avoid child support, and if you want to avoid being called a deadbeat, be more responsible. Women have the same accountability as well, because it takes two of us to make a child. If I don't want a child, you're not going to put one in me. Like, period. You're not gonna put it in me unless a crazy situation that we ain't got to talk about. But I'm just saying, like, we both bear responsibility in avoiding children out of wedlock. The responsibility can't solely be on women all the time. So you keep saying like the fathers didn't have, they didn't have.
But it's more on the women though. Do you know why? The reason why is because a man has no say in a woman's pregnancy. Like if I get with a woman and let's say we're both being irresponsible, we're both irresponsible. Both.
Then you both have to bear the responsibility.
Listen. So we're both being irresponsible. We met each other, one night stand, you get pregnant. We both know we were irresponsible. Both the man and woman. You hear me saying the man and woman is irresponsible.
I hear you.
The man goes, we made a mistake. We shouldn't have this child.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying we should not have this child. Mm-hmm. Does it matter that he's saying that?
After the fact that you decided to have sex without a condom, you don't get to determine that anymore. Because you could have avoided that whole, no, it's on the man as well, because you could have led that situation and said, because here's the thing, you can't talk about, oh, this is what I don't want after you already did the deed. You already decided to be irresponsible. You made a choice. We both made a choice to have a one-night stand unprotected. Whatever happens after that is both of our responsibility. We both cannot come to the situation and say, well, I don't want to, because you may not want the baby, but what if I don't believe in abortion? Now we got a situation, but also that's also my fault too, because if I don't believe in abortion, why did I put myself in a position where I could end up even have to have this conversation, end up this? So this is what I'm saying. It's on the woman and it's also on that man. It's also on that man to say, you know what? I want better for myself and I want better for my future seed. So I am not going to be irresponsible just because she's willing to be irresponsible with me and then complain about it later. Because now what you're going to say is, okay, we laid down, but we both did it, but I don't want the baby. And she's still going to have the baby. And now I got to be on child support and take care of the baby. There were so many steps that led up to that could have avoided that. And if you ended up doing a one-night stand with a woman that wants to keep her child, you're going to have to step up. That's on you, big dog. You decided to be irresponsible. This is the consequence of that. Same thing for the woman. It's more on us because we risk our lives having this baby. We have to carry this being. But the initial interaction, we both bear equal responsibility in that. And if men if they know that they don't want children out of wedlock, you have so many opportunities to keep that from happening. But you choose not to. And then you put the responsibility all on the woman because she let you. I thought you was leading this shit. I thought you was a man. I shouldn't be able to control you just because I'm willing to let you nut in me. But somehow I do.
But the decision is the woman's only.
What you mean?
To have a baby.
Yeah, because it's in our body. Yes.
Right. Should the decision only be the woman's?
When it comes, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So a father should have no say in whether his child enters this world.
The only say that he has is if he prevents his seed from falling in that womb.
No,
it's the only time you have a say so. So once you decide to drop it off.
So like how you said, the woman could say she don't want to, she's against an abortion, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if the father is like, I'm against an abortion. I want you to have it. And then the woman is like, no, I'm not having it. What do you think of that?
Then she's not having it.
And that's okay.
Yes.
So it should just be totally the woman's decision and the man should have no say.
Once the seed is released into the body that has to breed and give the life, it's unfortunately you made your decision already. I, like you said, it's on me. It's going to bear mostly on me because I have to have this child or not. So because we both decided, but I'm the only person that's going to have to deal with this shit for 9 months. I'm the only person.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
You're not going to go through any hormonal changes. Your body is not going to change. Your body is not going to, you're not going to get gain weight. You're not going to go through postpartum depression. You're not going to lose hair, teeth, gallbladders, all type of things, possibly risk your life when you do that. No. What are you going to change? Like, oh, you're not going to get as much sex anymore. I don't know. You're going to have to deal with a woman's mood swings because she's pregnant now. What are men suffering from when a woman is holding a whole ass life inside of her body, something that you'll never be able to experience?
So you think fathers?
So because that responsibility long term is on the woman, I'm sorry, sir, you decided to drop your seed in me. I'm going to determine if we're not married, I'm going to determine what happens. It's my body.
So you think fathers do nothing for 9 months and you think it doesn't affect them?
You're not doing anything to grow that baby. The baby is growing inside me.
No, I'm not talking about growing the baby.
For 9 months while that baby is growing in my womb.
I'm not talking about growing the baby. I'm talking about assist with the pregnancy. And
I'm sure a good man. Yeah. Oh, of course. I'm not talking about assisting and helping her. Like, I'm not talking about the outwardly things. I'm talking about the tremendous weight, literally, that a woman has to endure to carry a child to full term. Men are not enduring that.
Yeah, not the physical weight, because I agree with that.
But
what about the mental weight that the man has to take on?
Yeah, obviously. The mental weight is, well, the thing is, the mental health has to be a priority for the mother and the father, the home just in general, because that mother holds the child. This is the body that is holding the child. It's going to feel everything. It's going to sense everything energetically. So if I'm not right up here, that's going to affect the baby. If we're going at it mentally, constantly arguing, constantly in a fight or flight mode, that is energetically affecting the baby. That's going to affect the livelihood of the baby. So, excuse me, if I know that I laid down with a man that I was irresponsible with, and I'm not even sure, like, we were just having a good time, but I'm not sure how this man actually will treat me, as a woman, I'm going to make a decision to not have that child, if that's the case, because I know I'm not going to want to endure a pregnancy without the support and love of the person that I had it with.
So what we were saying before, there's a Pew Research Center study. It says, yes, men who are raised by their fathers are more likely to be involved in raising their own children. Men who were raised by their fathers tend to parent similarly to how they were raised, and this increased fatherly involvement has been linked to their own later involvement with their children. So it is research-based.
Oh, yeah. I don't disagree.
Because I said men, I said men who were, I said I had a father who raised me, and I said more than likely the men who are deadbeats didn't have their father. That's a fact.
That study did not state a fact. It just showed like the situation. It stated that if a father is in the household, then that child will then be an active father to their father. Absolutely. But there are also fathers in the household that raise their sons that still end up being deadbeat fathers.
Yeah. All right. Let me read it again. So it says, men who are raised by their fathers are more likely to be involved in raising their own children. Men who were raised by fathers tend to parent similarly to how they were raised, and this increased fatherly involvement has been linked to their own later involvement with their children. So
Mhm,
that's saying what I said. A man who was raised by his father is more likely to raise his children.
mhm.
So it's not saying 100% of the time men who were raised by their father raise their children. There are some
Okay,
men
that's
who
what I
was
wanted
raised
to,
by a father
'cause
who are deadbeats.
mhm.
I'm saying what I said originally. More than likely, when the man is a deadbeat, he didn't have a father, and statistics prove that.
Well, no, you said 9 times out of 10, you threw data out there with nothing to back it up. I agree. I
Well,
agree,
I
and
was
that's
figuratively speaking. Nine
yeah,
times out of 10 is a figure of speech. More
yeah,
than
so
likely is what I meant.
okay, alright, I'll concede to that, sure. More
Okay.
than likely, if you're raised by your father, then you won't be a deadbeat dad. Sure.
Okay. So dang, this time doesn't fly. You know how long we've been on here?
An hour and 50 minutes. I'm sure your chat is dragging me right now, but I'm not even looking at it.
No, you got a lot of fans in here. You got some support. You can't see the chat?
I don't look at the chat. The chat traumatizes me. I don't look at chat
Oh no,
anymore.
I don't care what they say. So,
I've learned my lesson. Mm-mm.
I'm just letting it flow. I'm looking at the chat. I see some people. There's some people who have said some things not in your favor, but there's some people who have said things in your favor. Um, let's see.
God bless you all.
Oh, what does sassy mean?
Um, Sassy. I don't know. I'm sassy. I guess it for me. It just means like like you just got like attitude. You just you're sassy. You just got a little sass. What
So
do you think it means?
it means attitude. I don't know what it means.
Not attitude in a negative way, but just like, like coming from like a dancer, performer, cheer background, you have to have sass to present. So it's just like a like a like yeah, I know who I am. It's sassy.
I
What's
can
the
tell you what I
definition?
thought it meant. I thought it meant bold, but let me
Yeah,
see
it
if
can
it.
mean that too. That's actually a great way. That's actually one way to put it. It is.
So let me see what the definition says. All right, so it says lively, bold, and full of spirit on
Yeah.
dictionary.com. But you hear a lot of women say that a man is sassy now, and I don't know what that means. I don't know what the slang for it is. So I was seeing if you knew what that is.
I think that when a woman calls a man sassy through um when a woman calls a man sassy through my perspective, through my observation, it usually happens when like I don't know, like men are like going back and forth with women, yelling at women, calling women names, just being catty. Like when a man is like being catty with a woman and just being nasty to a woman, I
He's being
think some
what?
women
You
nasty.
being nasty.
Yeah, I think some women interpret that behavior from men as like a sassy girl, because it's like you are like I might as well be bickering with another woman. Like that, I feel like that's what it means.
So it means like feminine.
If it, I don't know if it's like I don't think sassy is feminine or masculine. I just think I think women interpret it through men when they are being like catty with women, like argumentative and yelling at them and like bitch I don't like you anyway and you ain't shit anyway and just totally disparaging a woman for no reason or maybe he had a reason. I really don't know. Like it's subjective. It's subjective, I guess. I don't know. What do you think sassy is when a man does it?
When it's not when a man does it. I think when women say it, because I don't really hear men use it like, oh, you sassy. I hear women use it, usually the men. And when I think they mean by it is, I think they mean gay or feminine.
Yeah. They mean, yeah, probably.
Like that's what I think they mean, and they're not saying it. So
Probably. I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think that I can see why a woman would interpret a man like being super argumentative with a woman as being sassy or like gay. I don't know. I think it's just like an unexpected.
gay as in he likes men.
Mm, maybe if he's it. I do find that when a man finds himself always disparaging, provoking, antagonizing, going out his way to be rude to women, you might be on the DL.
No, I'm not talking about that. Like, so for like I had an interview where I had an interview with Dr. Sarah Fontenot, and there was some woman in the comments calling me sassy. And I'm like, from the interview, and we got along.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, and if you watch the interview, we're great friends. Like it was a good discussion. It was there wasn't even a back and forth really. Like there were certain points where you disagree, but no one's gonna I have an identical twin. We don't agree on every single thing. So like, and me and him are like this. That's
How do I know you're not the twin? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that would be cool. But so where were they getting that from? From that exchange?
I don't know. I would probably have to go watch that. I don't know.
So like
some I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe something about your demeanor that made them say that. I don't know. I would have to go watch that particular episode.
No, and here's the kicker. Some of the people were watching sped up clips because you know how when you post a reel, you'll speed it up so more information gets out. Some of them were watching that and said it. So then I still didn't understand that. And then even some of my other interviews, people said that. I'm like, so when you disagree, not a man is sassy. It's like, oh, and for not just sassy, but you calling him gay now because you disagree, or he's feminine. Like, that's kind of crazy, which is something that I see often when people disagree, more often than not, with this dating scene. If you disagree with the male speaker, then he's a misogynist. He hates Black women specifically, or he hates himself. He hates his mother, or he's gay. Or then they attack the way he looks, like, oh, he just mad he can't get women, something like that. What do you think of that? Do you see that, or what do you think of that?
I don't think about that. I really don't. It's just like it's negative. What did you say? Like if
They say he hates himself and his mother. He's gay.
And they say that's when a man does what?
If they disagree with him in terms of like the dating scene.
Like if a woman disagrees with a man, or
yeah, like so you heard like they said it about Kevin Samuels.
Okay.
They've said it about like different, like, oh, he's gay, or it's like sort of what Kevin Samuels said. Shame, incels, guilt need to be right. It's like they gotta shame you some way. So they'll say you're gay, you're a misogynist, and you just hate women, or you specifically hate Black women, or you just mad because you can't get none. Like, oh, yeah, he's straight, but he can't get no woman. Look at him. Like that type of thing. Like call you ugly or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, there could be depending on what that person was saying, you could maybe say that, but also there are a lot of women who don't like to hear certain truths. And so if that's the case, it may be offensive to them, even if that man is not being offensive. Some people don't like to hear real truths or, exposing themselves to truths. And so they call you names. It depends. I would have to really hear the delivery and the intentions behind the words of what that man is saying for me to make those assumptions. Because if it's just you just being general, making a general statement, about, relationships, and you're not being disparaging, I could take that for what it is. But if you're saying these women, this and that, and you might be a little bitter, you might be a little mad at your mom. It may depend. It depends on the delivery and the intentions behind the words, more so the intentions behind the words.
All right, so two more good ones to close us out. To Then there were so many that I had.
Which one didn't we go over yet?
What do you think of what do you bring to the what do you bring to the table question? Do you think men should ask that question? Do you think it's a question men can ask, or
You all have the right to ask whatever. I've never been asked that question a day in my life. You know what? I'm lying. I was asked that one time via text and he got blocked.
you blocked him because he asked you what you bring to the table?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I didn't talk to him again. For me, it's a silly question. We hadn't even been on any date and had any conversation. This was just straight up first meeting, text exchange, not even a day into knowing each other, and you're asking me what I bring to the table. For me, you're already looking to take, and you're trying to gain something off of me, and you're really not trying to get to know me. Because what is that? I don't know. I don't bring shit to the table. If if somebody ever really asks me that, I don't bring nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing.
So it was more so when he asked you.
Probably because prior to that, I've never been asked that question before. And after that, I've never been asked that question. It was only one time in my life, 2020, at the end of 2020, right? That when I went to Nashville? Yeah, that was that one time. Met somebody, exchanged numbers, not even a day into knowing him. Yeah, so, you look good and all, but what you bringing to the table? Nothing. Blocked. Because what are you talking about? It's just a weird question. And the thing is, asking that, whether a woman asks that to a man or a man asks that to a woman, there's no right answer. You know what I'm saying? Because when women were answering that question, men will say, I don't need you to cook for me. I can hire a maid. She'll be like, well, I cook, I clean, and I bring peace, and I do whatever you say. And what do the men say? I can hire a maid. I can hire a chef. I bring my own peace. What else? So it's just like, I don't bring shit. I don't bring nothing. Now, I will say, I don't think I've ever had to be asked that, because the men that I've dated, the men that I'm with now, are very intentional. So they already know when they're dealing with me, we're not wasting time. You already see what I'm bringing to whatever table that you bring into me. I'm able to be with the man and to observe what his table might need, be able to observe how I can add to the table. But what do I bring? I don't know. You got to show me what the table is like first. Do you even know what your table needs? A lot of y'all don't know.
Yeah, you got to see my breakdown when I went over this analogy of the whole table thing. There's definitely a right answer.
I'm sure it was groundbreaking.
No, it really was. It was. That was one of the main clips that went viral from the podcast.
So does every woman bring the same thing to every man's table?
Does every woman bring the same thing to every man's table?
I
would think they don't.
Okay.
Because not every man is going to need the same thing at the table.
Exactly. So,
but there's certain things that you just bring no matter what.
Now, stating the obvious, like kindness, respect, loyalty, honesty, love, those should go without saying. If you're a decent human being, those are already things you're coming to give to someone in a relationship.
But you'll be surprised
So
because
you shouldn't have to explain that.
see, those are simple things to say, but when you ask the question, and I don't know, there's a viral clip going around right now. Do you know the comedian Leslie Jones?
Mm-hmm.
There's a viral clip of her going around right now, and people saying she was joking, but she was saying, "Oh, I am the table."
Oh,
And
I've heard that clip. Mm-hmm.
yeah, and when men ask that question, a lot of the time, women will seriously answer saying they are the table, rather than just saying the things that you said. Kind, peaceful, loyal, good communicator, and a man would just take that and say, "Oh, okay."
But
She didn't say she's the table.
But here's the thing, Dr. James. I like I said, I'm only saying that to you now because for me, those are the obvious things that you should already have to give and looking to receive in a relationship. Those are basic things that should go without saying. Go without saying, right? You're saying that that's all women need to say. What I'm saying is I've seen women say these things in these spaces. When a man asks, well, what do you bring? And they would say all of the things I just said, and the men would say, oh, so nothing. I've literally have said that. So while I hear you, I hear what you're saying, but through my observation, even when a woman says all of those things that should go without saying, it's still not enough for some men, or men don't value it. So that's why I love when niggas ask weird questions like, "What's your body count?" I lost count. I don't know. You tell me. Since we asking crazy questions, what do I bring to the table? Absolutely nothing.
Whoa, we can't skip over that. You think asking the body count question is a crazy question?
Absolutely. Why are you
Why?
worried about dicks
Why
before
so?
you?
Huh?
Why are you worried about how many how many sexual relationships I had before you?
Because it's going to impact me.
How?
Well, you know that there's research surrounding that too.
I
Women
want to
who,
know how, straight from you. How does a woman's body count affect you?
well, that's how. It would be nice to know where my woman falls in statistics and data. When women who are more promiscuous are more likely to get a divorce. So knowing that will let me know some key information.
Did they give a census to all the promiscuous women, and then when they got married and divorced, they came up with a number that proves that? Because how do we know that?
Because they conduct studies and then the variables, and there's always a threat to validity, but these women were being honest. So if you ask a woman, a set of women who got married and divorced, now again, there's always a threat to validity with research. I had it in my doctoral research with my dissertation. But
What are you a
we're
doctor
banking,
of?
huh?
Sorry to cut you off. I'll ask later, but go ahead.
Educational leadership.
Okay.
So when you conduct a research study, there's going to be a threat to validity. But so they had a sample size, they asked women, what was your body count? How many partners have you had? These married and divorced women. And the woman who had higher body counts, I think it starts at like over 5. Once it starts going above 5, 10, 15, 20, as it increases there, you're more likely to get a divorce. So banking on these women's honesty is what the research is compiled of. So that's how we get the statistics. So the threat to
And you believe that?
validity is it could be some woman who got a divorce who weren't promiscuous is the only thing that we're, so now we would be thinking that a woman lied and said her number prior to marriage was higher if we're thinking that the data isn't real.
I'm the thing about it is I just think it's silly. It's stupid because the thing is, regardless of how many bodies, and when I said that, that was sarcasm because I know y'all like to clip shit up and say Jasmine said she don't know how many people she had sex with. It's sarcasm. I'm learning that it sometimes go over y'all head in these YouTube streets. Y'all take everything very literal, but what I'm saying is I will respond in a silly way because I think it's a silly question because my body count, quote unquote. First of all, if I tell you a number, you're not going to believe me. If I say 2, you're going to do what? Multiply by whatever y'all say, right?
It's
If I
supposed to be 3, but if she say 2, it's probably got to multiply by 10.
But see, this is what I'm saying. Why ask the question when they give you an answer? You're not going to believe it anyway.
To hold
And
someone
then,
accountable.
and then, not only are you not going to believe it, but how would you even know? Because a bitch can lie. She can
Oh, you don't
literally.
know.
She can. No, you can't.
It
Men
comes
think
out.
they're so smart when it comes to that. You
No,
don't know.
it comes out over time, though.
How? Give me an example. Have you had
And
that
how they
experience?
behave. And
How?
then if all right, so if I lock you into an answer, so like it's not something that I ask, but depending on the
Why not?
situation, depending on the discussion, certain scenarios, it's not something that I've asked a woman, but depending on the scenario or the discussion we're having, it could come up. And then when you lock someone into a number, now they have to remember their number to remember their lies. So if you tell me 2, that's why it's so hard with a lie, because you got to
But do
cover up
you
every
see how
lie.
much mental gymnastics you're doing about
No,
something that is so irrelevant to the
no,
conducive of a
look,
healthy
look. If
relationship?
you tell me 2, now every story you say has to line up to that. How many boyfriends have you had? And then you slip up and you say, "Oh, I have 4 boyfriends." Oh, so you didn't have sex with 2.
Sometimes that happens.
Oh, yeah. But look, you have to remember your lie. You have to remember
But the thing,
everything you're saying, which makes it
so
more difficult.
it's
Furthermore, a relationship built on lies is what you now created. If you don't love you for who you are, how can you expect someone else to love you for who you are? Why lie about it if that's who you honestly are? So men
who
will
I
ask the
who
question to see if you lie.
who I
If you
had
tell
sex.
me 50, even if 50 is a lie, your real number is 100. The fact that you went high,
See, do you see?
though, lets me know that I can trust that number more. It's more closer to your real number.
But
I'm
do you
I'm
see
still
why
not
the
going to be with you.
Do you see why the logic doesn't make sense? You're
No.
asking, she gives a number, you don't believe her anyway. If it's over a certain threshold, you're not going to be with her anyway. She's damned if she
Yeah.
do, damned if she don't. So
No, she
why are
not
you even
damn.
ask? Because if she
Tell the truth.
because if she says I've only had 2 partners, you're going to be like, you're lying. I got to multiply that by 4.
No,
When she's sitting here
the
saying,
man
no, I've
isn't
only
going to
had
say
2,
that. He's just
but
going
you're
to make
saying,
a mental note.
but you're going to make a mental note. So then you're going to continue to ask her along down the line so her lie can match up. Like, why are y'all
No,
spending so much
you
time?
don't got to ask her stuff down the line to see if it matches up. You just, if you're like me, you remember things, and I'm going to pay
You're
attention.
going to bring it back up. Like,
No,
by
I'm
the
not.
way,
No, I'm not. I'm just going to pay attention to it, and then when things don't add up, you pay attention to, oh, that didn't add up. Like, I've been in those situations where a woman will tell me a number, and then she'll say certain things like, "Oh yeah, back in the days when me and my homegirl used to go to Miami and stuff like that," and then you just take a mental notes like,
so
you're
you
using
assume
your
because a
common
girl,
sense.
so you assume because a girl is in Miami, she's having sex with strangers. That's mature.
No, I'm not assuming that. I'm using my common sense and taking a mental note. Women who have low body counts aren't the ones who were in their late teens, early 20s. They weren't the ones going to Miami Beach for a spring break and
Are you
summer
sure
break.
about that?
Yes.
Where's your data, statistics, and proof to prove that one? Because
What did I just say?
that was just pulled right out of the side of your neck, sir.
What did I just say? What was my statement?
You said a woman with low body count was not in Miami.
That wasn't the whole statement.
At 18, 19 years old. That's what you said. A woman with a low body count. First of all, why would an 18 or 19-year-old be flying to Miami? You're not even legal yet. You're not even
You are
21. Now,
legal.
you said what?
You are legal at 18.
I'm saying like not legal enough to get into bars, not legal enough to get to go to the club, not legal enough to buy drinks.
Fake ID.
You gotta still be 21. Okay, well that shit is not happening in mass, and they crack down on fake IDs so much, especially in
It's
Miami.
happening with the promiscuous ones.
You seem to know a lot about promiscuous women, the same type of women you say you don't want to deal with. Why is that?
This is just something that is known. If I'm
know a lot of
36
promiscuous
years
women.
old. No,
Why?
I've lived life.
So you've
And
only
I know what people were doing when I was that age.
So you're saying that every woman that has a low body count when she was 18, 19 years old, she wasn't outside having fun.
What's having fun?
You
I
tell
didn't
me.
say fun.
You tell me. Because fun could be
I didn't
going to
say fun.
Miami. Because fun could be going to Miami. Why couldn't
Yeah.
I have had a low body count going to Miami?
If you're 18, 19, and in your early 20s, and pay attention to what I said for every spring break and summer break, if you frequented Miami in your late teens, early 20s as a woman, it's a good chance that body count ain't low.
That's a projection. You really don't know.
No, it ain't. No, it's a good, that's just using up, because what were you doing there? You just love Miami so much?
It's a fun time. Just like people go to Vegas for a fun time. People go to LA
like
for
you said,
a fun time.
no,
People go to New York for a fun time.
Jazz, let's think this through. Like you said, at 18, 19, you can't even legally drink yet.
So how many 18 or 19-year-olds you knew was going flying to Miami and behaving like that? We both understand that 18
behaving like what?
Huh?
Behaving like what?
I'm saying you're trying to make the blanket statement that no 18 or 19-year-old would ever
No,
go
I
to
didn't say
Miami.
no. I didn't say no. What I said was the ones who have the low body count, it's more than likely they were. No, I didn't. I'm saying more than likely. I'm not saying I don't know that.
You can't even say more than likely.
So let's just go with what we know of.
You need
Let's
to
go with what we know
your
of.
own experience.
No, let's go with what we know of.
You should go off your own experience.
No, let's go with what we know. I was in Miami in my early 20s.
Okay.
Let's go with what we know of.
Okay.
Is Miami nightlife a promiscuous lifestyle?
Is Miami nightlife a promiscuous lifestyle?
Yeah.
If you make it one.
Do a lot of people go to Miami to indulge in promiscuity in their early 20s?
I don't know.
For spring break and summer break?
I don't know.
This is known. This is known.
Listen, I was in Miami. I wasn't a spring breaker like that. That was like some I wasn't going there for spring break, but I went to Miami several times in my 20s. Okay? And not one time was I out there looking to have sex with strangers or looking to be promiscuous or was I around other women that were looking to have sex with strangers. This is all a projection of what y'all think women are doing based on what men do.
That's what we know
when they go to these. Listen, I'm not saying that there aren't some women who do that, but you're trying to make the blanket statement that it's all.
It's not. I never said all.
But if it's not, but if you don't even have a percentage, why do you even care about the few that do?
No, I'm talking about, because what we're talking about is someone habit that's more likely to be attached to someone who is promiscuous.
So you think a 20-year-old girl habit is the same habit she's going to have at 40?
That's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying then?
It's if she was more likely to be promiscuous, it's the whole outside thing. If she was outside, it's more likely that she has a high body count because she was outside. She was outside in the atmosphere, putting herself around it.
That is a limited mindset, but if that makes you feel better about your stance on things, then go ahead and believe it.
So you're saying the woman who was inside is more likely to have a higher body count?
Inside where? Just trapped in a house?
Just inside.
Inside where?
Yeah, inside.
Inside where?
Yeah, inside the damn house.
All the time.
She wasn't out as much, and she wasn't traveling to other states.
You don't think a woman that's always in the house can't have men?
No, she wasn't traveling to other states.
You think a woman that wants sex need to go to travel to do it? You don't think a woman that's always in the house can't have men coming in and out of her house?
That's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying then?
I'm saying it. The woman that was inside, not traveling domestically or internationally. She was inside, maybe going to work, maybe doing occasional regular outings, bowling, movie theaters, like hiking or something like that, was her, how she spent her leisure. opposed to the person who was
Mm-hmm.
flying domestically to Miami Beach for spring break or in winter break,
Mm-hmm.
or flying to, internationally somewhere. You don't think it's more like, so let's flip it. The man who was outside, do you think he has the higher body count, or the man who was doing the same things that I just said? Do you
Well,
think the man who was flying to Colombia and Brazil and Dominican Republic and all of these places, do you think he's more likely to have the higher body count, or the man who was inside?
well, we know that he has the higher body count because he's only going to Colombia and Brazil and Miami to have
Why?
sex.
Why can't he go there for?
Because
Why he
because
can't go
that's
to
not what men
international for
do. And
vacation?
you know for a fact that's not what men do. Men
How do
don't
I
go
know that
to
for a fact?
Brazil. You know for sure a majority of men, you name specific places for a reason because you know that men specifically
No,
go to these places
I
to
named
have
Miami
sex
Beach
with
too.
the women in those places. So obviously, and then men are the first ones to say that they are led by their dicks, that they can't control themselves around women. So
No,
obviously a man is always going to have a higher body count. Y'all should specifically go to certain places to have sex with women. So of course your body count is going to be higher. What I'm trying to tell you,
I'm gonna do the
if a
same
woman,
thing.
the likelihood of a woman traveling to Brazil is
Jamaica, they go to Jamaica.
go to Jamaica. And see, that's another stereotype. Y'all seen these girls get rubbed down for an experience that men are also partaking in as well, in a mud bath, and assume that they're out there having sex. I feel this is an internalized projection because
No,
y'all go to these
I've
places
been to
and
Jamaica.
look to have sex with women on the island or women that you meet there. Y'all specifically go to the Dominican Republic to get to have sex with hoes. Literally.
No, I like the weather.
Yeah, that's cute.
I like the weather and the
Tell me
beach.
something about the culture.
What do you want to know about the
Tell
culture?
me something.
I don't know what that means.
Tell me something since you go to Dominican not for the women and not to have sex, and you're embracing Dominican. Tell me something about the culture, Dr. James.
I've been to over 25 countries. If you tell me to tell you something about the culture, what do you like? What do you mean? They like to dance? What do you mean about the culture? I don't understand.
Was there something historical that you found during your travels that you can tell me about that experience? Like
Yeah.
what like the last time I went to
Yeah.
Playa del Carmen, I went and I went to an ancestral cave and did like this um meditation ritual with some of the natives of the land and learned about like their
Mhm.
ancestors and how they pray and things like that.
Right.
I embraced that, and that was a solo trip by myself. So I'm just asking you, has there ever been an experience when you went to these places like Brazil, Dominican, that you along your travels that you embrace something within that culture that you learned from?
Yeah, it's on my page. It's on my profile. Every time I go somewhere, I go places. Like
Okay, can
when
you
I
share
went
an
to
experience?
Brazil, I went to the Christ regime. I went to the Christ regime. It's their famous statue or whatever. I went to uh, a slave plantation there. I did the same thing when I was in Dominican Republic. They have a museum that's dedicated to, I forget the book, but it was three women who were trying to they were going against the government in Dominican Republic and they got killed. There's a book, I forget the name of the book on him. Have you heard of it?
Mm-mm.
But all right, so I went to that museum or whatever. That was when I was in the capital. Um, Santo
Okay.
Domingo is the capital. So when I was in Jamaica, I
Okay.
went to where Christopher Columbus came when he went to the place. I went to Dunn's River Fall. I went to Bob Marley's house. I
So it's
went.
safe to say
This everywhere I go, I do this. So
So it's safe to say that we can't make the assumption that because men travel to certain areas that they are participating in salacious activity, which is what you were alluding to, because
no,
you made
I
the
was
assumption.
asking you.
You made the assumption.
Mm-mm.
You just asked me,
I was
why would
asking
you
you.
think? No, no, no. Why would you think a man is going to go to all these places? Because you know that a majority of men go to these places for this. So You try to reverse it and say, if you know men are going to all these places and you know that they're probably having sex, then you know if women are going to all these places, then you just know that they're having sex too. You
That
said
wasn't
that.
my
But
question.
then you just sat here and broke down how you are a man and able to go to these places and
I'm
embrace
different.
the culture. And there are a lot of different women out here that don't participate in that as well and are able to go to Miami, go to other places where maybe promiscuous for something, maybe entices people to behaving promiscuous activity. If that's the type of person you are, you don't have to be in Miami to be promiscuous. If you're promiscuous, you're going to be there in your hometown. You know what I'm saying? But we can't make the assumption that just because a girl's in Miami, that she has a high body count. And that's what you're doing right now.
No, it wasn't. No, I didn't. That's not what I did. What I did was
You
I
said
said,
more than likely.
no, I said, which is more likely? The
Oh
one that
my
was
God,
in,
that's the
I
same
said that
thing.
that's like just like what I said with the dude who done been outside traveling to Colombia, Brazil, Dominican Republic, all of these places, opposed to the dude who was inside. And I went over what I meant by inside. Like, oh, he goes hiking, he goes bowling,
So you got
movies.
somebody that doesn't like to
While,
travel versus somebody that does.
while he's
Okay.
focusing on his, maybe college career and college and his career and doing certain things just to have healthy leisure time, because you can't just be focused on work all the time. So that's what that person does during their leisure. Which one do you think would have a higher body count is what I was saying. Just which one do you think?
I think I don't have anything to like you want me to say yes. If a woman went down to Miami at 18, more times than not, she's a whore and she had a high body
No,
count.
not a
More
whore.
than likely, 9 times out of 10, this is the language you're using to try to paint the picture of a woman being
No, I
in a
didn't say 9
certain.
times out of 10.
Okay, so what are we saying then?
No, I said which one do you think would have a higher body count?
I don't know because
I didn't
environment.
ask you what you know. I said, what do you think?
Because I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Because the guy that likes to hike, the guy that likes to do more things, within his hometown or at home could be a fucking slut and goes out and has sex with prostitutes or has a porn addiction or always has a woman in and out of his house. A woman could be the same way. Could be always on the scene, always out of town, always on spring break, ain't had sex yet. So that's why I'm saying, like, you can't automatically assume these things based off a person's lifestyle. You don't know. You can make assumptions because assumptions align with your beliefs. So you want your beliefs validated right now. You want me to say, if they doing this, then more than likely they may be that. And it's like, I really don't know. Maybe.
I don't
Maybe not. Because there are plenty of kids who grew up in the church that are promiscuous as fuck.
Yeah, but
how do you explain that? How do you explain that?
They say that about PKs.
How do you explain that? Isn't that like the biggest? Isn't that like the best rearing that a child could have? 2-parent household under God's rule, under a religious belief, not outside like that. How do they end up being so promiscuous? So that's what I'm saying.
They say that about PKs.
But why? The setup shouldn't deliver that type of outcome, should it not? Mm-hmm. This person is growing under God.
It's just like I'm saying that about Catholic schoolgirls and stuff like that.
But that's what I'm saying. You cannot assume that an environment breeds a certain type of behavior just because that's what you assume about people behaving in that environment.
You can't. Nothing is absolute, so you're not going to assume that it does it 100%
that's what you're doing.
Time. No, I'm not.
I've
never said that.
You just said it. You just said that if a
woman, it's more likely.
That's an assumption.
Look.
That's an assumption.
Look. So, Jazz, if a kid grows up around gangbangers and violence, he's more likely to become a gangbanger and violent.
Maybe.
No, he is, because it's modeled behavior. That's a fact. That's data shows that.
Well,
it's modeled behavior. When you grow up doing things and it's influenced and it's put in front of you at a young age, you grow up feeling that way. Just like we see with the doll test. You remember the doll test?
Doll?
Doll, DOLL.
What's that?
So that was when they put the doll in front of the young kids and the young girls, and the black girls saw the white doll, and they asked the young black girls between the white doll and the black
Oh, I know what
doll,
you're talking about. Okay, yeah,
which one is pretty?
That's conditioning of white supremacy.
Yes, because all over TV and in school and everywhere they've gone, these black girls have been conditioned to say, oh, black ugly, white pretty. So that's why they felt that way. When things are conditioned and modeled in front of you and it's put in your face at a young age, it's more likely to impact you that way. So environment does impact how you turn out. It's not 100%, but it can
here's
impact.
the thing. No, but here's the thing though. Here's the thing. Yes, as a child, sure, your environment, if you're only around that environment and you don't have any mentor or any type of lane to get out of that environment, because we all know there have been plenty of people that grew up in that environment, and when they grew up, they became the complete opposite. They did not grow up to be gangbangers. They did not grow up to be in the streets. They were able to assess the situation. That is more likely due to the rearing of their parent in the home, who set them up, regardless of their environmental circumstances. They tried to set them up for the best outcome. So when you say things like, okay, more than likely, yeah, maybe, but also we do know that it's also a good chance that that doesn't happen, because we have actual proof that a lot of young people who grow up in these harsh environments get out of them. But we're not talking about a young child being impressed upon by a negative environment. We're talking about 19, 20-year-old, 21-year-old grown women choosing to be in environments that may breed promiscuous behavior. And you're assuming because she's in that environment, more than likely, she might be participating in that promiscuous behavior. She's not a child. She doesn't have to be participating in that environment just because she's in it. So I can't sit here and say that because the girl traveled when she was younger and wasn't sitting in the house, that more than likely she has a high body count. There's nothing. Why is that the assumption?
Yes.
Why couldn't she have been but that's what you said. That's what you said.
Even if all right, firstly, they're not born 18, but secondly, if a guy is 22 years old and he hangs out at a bar, he frequents a bar every Friday and Saturday, it's more likely he drinks than a guy who never goes to a bar. It's just like using the logic.
Or the guy who doesn't go to the bar drinks at home.
Yeah, but why is the guy going to the bar? We're talking about like with
because some people like social environments.
It's also like, all right, so like it's like the guy who works out more and doesn't go to the bar, because people who are into fitness are less likely to drink or smoke.
Me and my man are in the gym 3 or 4 times a week, and we go and drink down and we smoke down.
Yeah, that's anecdotal, but there's data surrounding this.
Listen, you can try to like make it like irrefutable proof that this is what it is, but there's just nuance to everything. And I think that's where we're getting a little muddy, because there's no right answer. You can make the assumption and assume. You can make the assumption and assume if a young girl was traveling in her younger 20s, more than likely she's a hoe.
It's not more than likely. It's not more than like I'm saying.
Yeah, that's more, the words that you use.
No, I didn't. I said more likely.
Oh my God.
So
what's the difference between more than likely and more likely, Dr. James?
So more than likely doesn't need a comparison. More likely involves a comparison to something. So more likely then, just more likely, as in comparison to then just more likely in general. So I'm saying,
you're saying, you're telling me, it's better to say, you're saying more than likely is worse than saying more likely because we just pulled out a word. So, okay, so what
Yes.
you want to say is a woman that is traveling in her early 20s more likely has a high body count. That's what you're saying.
No, I would say you
You
need to
literally just said
no. Here, listen to it so you catch it. So the woman who was traveling in her 20s to Miami Beach 3-4 times a year, early 20s, it's more likely she was promiscuous than the girl who wasn't traveling there as frequently. Sort of more likely. Then, so it was a comparison. Then I say, oh, well, or you're saying I'm saying, a woman who was traveling, in her early 20s to frequently go to Miami Beach, more than likely was a hoe. That's what you're saying I'm saying. I
so the
involved the
only difference
comparison.
so the only difference is that you're comparing her to another woman. You're comparing her to okay, so the only difference in this, you're still assuming both girls have a high body count. You're just
No, I'm not.
comparing. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. No,
You're
I'm
just
not. Because when I
comparing
say
one of them, you're just comparing to one of them to a woman that's not in Miami, and you're assuming the woman that's not in Miami more likely has a less body count than the woman that is in Miami, right?
he doesn't have to have a high body count to have a higher count.
I don't know, man. I just think that it's like I feel silly talking about this. Like we're playing semantic gymnastics right now.
No, not
You're like
semantics.
it is
We're
because
just clearing up what was said.
you're saying okay. So you want me to concede to hey Jazz, a
No, I don't
woman
want you to concede if you don't
you
want
a
to.
woman a woman who had traveled in her early 20s more likely has a higher body count than a woman who didn't travel in her 20s. And the adverse is a woman who didn't travel in her 20s more likely has a less body count than a woman that did travel. That's what you're saying, right?
Well, I said something specific, but
No, that's
yeah.
what you said, Dr. James.
No, I said specifically frequented Miami Beach.
Okay. Okay, because you assume that only Miami Beach is where all the
No,
promiscuous shit
that's just
happens.
for the example.
Okay, so for the example, okay, so same shit. The woman that went to Miami frequently more likely has a higher body count than the woman who didn't frequent Miami. My question is, how do you know? To even make that assumption, how do you, to even make the more likely correlation, how do you know? That's why I said this is all based on assumption because of what you think everybody is doing in a particular environment. You think
No.
everybody in Miami, when they frequent Miami constantly in their early 20s, more likely they're having a bunch of sex with people. So you assume that if a woman is frequently going to Miami, which is your example, she's going to Miami in her 20s, more likely her body count is higher. And you think this because you think Miami is a promiscuous place. So you think that anybody that goes to Miami frequently has to be promiscuous.
So you,
And
so
my
you,
thing is, there's no irrefutable, even when you make the comparison to the woman who doesn't go to Miami, there is no data that supports that likely or more likely or not. All we have is assumption. That's my point. You can make the assumption, but that you really don't know. You're just making the assumption based on what you think is happening.
so you don't think, is Miami Beach known to have promiscuous nightlife?
I'm sure it does.
Is it known that is just like Las Vegas? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Is it known to have promiscuous nightlife?
It's known to be a very heated, sexed up environment. Yes. Very,
Promiscuous nightlife.
very, very well. Promiscuous is an action.
Right.
A nightlife can't be promiscuous.
At
Like
nighttime,
promiscuity,
people indulge in promiscuity in these locations. Is it known that way?
for some people.
No, I mean, like as a culture, is it known or
Oh, I don't know if
suspected
it's
that
a
the
I don't know
culture
if it's a
in
known
Vegas and
thing
Miami
that
Beach?
I don't know. No, I don't know because somebody just so how do you explain people getting married in Miami Beach? My home, like somebody I know just got, married in Miami Beach. So is that somehow? I'm just, I mean, I don't know. Y'all know y'all way smarter than me, so I don't really know what the fuck I'm talking about at this point. I'm just trying to understand like the correlation because you're trying to paint the picture. Like I get it. It is
No,
a more enticing environment. It is. It's an enticing environment. It's water, it's island, it's beautiful people, it's beautiful men, it's beautiful women. You're feeling yourself. But that still does not assume that you still cannot say that if a person frequents there, whether it's a man or a woman, that they are specifically going there to have promiscuous sex.
no, it's just I'm not saying that. Just like me, I travel a lot. I've been a lot of places. And we already went over that when I travel, I'm not indulging in what the average man indulges in. I'm a
I don't think the
historian.
average man is indulging in that.
Or what most men or what many men are indulging in it. And I know many men are indulging in it. I'm not going to act like they're not. I travel a lot. I've seen it. There's observable truth. You see what people do, etc. And when you travel a lot, you just notice. But because I don't, doesn't mean I don't know that men travel to places like Colombia, Brazil, Dominican Republic, different
Okay,
places in Africa, Nigeria. I've heard stories. I've heard stories about different places with the Caribbean, South America, even some places in Asia.
Okay. So Dr.
They
James, what's
indulge
the
in.
okay. So what how do we okay, so now what? Because like I get what you're like. What are you driving home, babe?
No,
Because
that guy drove home.
you're
You
saying
just drove it home.
you okay. Well then let's go somewhere else. Okay, every girl in
But
Miami is promiscuous. Every girl at home is not.
no, that wasn't the drive home.
Okay, more likely. She's more
Did you get out
likely
the
to be.
car, Jazz?
She's more likely to be promiscuous if she's in Miami. Got you. Got you. Any woman that goes to Miami is more likely to be promiscuous. Got it. That's what you want to say, right? Because
No.
Miami is a promiscuous environment, so more
Oh
likely
yeah, it's known that. Yeah.
it's no okay. It's known to be a promiscuous environment, so more likely if a woman is there, she's being promiscuous. Okay, we
No,
got.
that wasn't the drive home.
But that's
But
what you
my
said.
my last question
That's what you
is,
said.
how do you feel
I know
about?
they fucking in these cities, but you can't assume that every person is just
No,
because.
I already did it. I didn't assume that because I know I wasn't. But
So why are you assuming that women are doing it then?
doing what?
Doing what you're not doing?
No, I'm not assuming that every woman is doing that.
Just a couple? How many?
More than the one who's not frequent in there. More than the women who don't frequent those places.
So you assume that a woman that frequents Miami more than a woman that doesn't is going to have a higher body count.
Yeah, especially if it was in their late teens, early 20s. That would be my hypothesis. During that time frame, those women accumulated a higher body count on average.
Because you
Not
assume.
saying that the women who were at home in their neighborhood couldn't have accumulated a high body count, because I know those too. So that's why I'm not saying it's an absolute.
So why are
I'm
we even
saying that
saying it?
that's the hypothesis.
But it's not even close to like there. But there's no. It's a hypothesis, but there is nothing that supports this hypothesis outside of the assumption of what you think is going on in an environment that you're not even partaking in.
No,
So how
it's
do you even
no, but
know?
I did. Like I said, I lived life and I went through it and I went through these
Okay, I
locations.
got you. Yes, women are horse. Go ahead, keep going.
That's crazy. Last question. How do you feel about non-black people coming into this space of black dating, relationships, marriage, talking about topics to, help uplift or grow the black community? How do you feel about them coming into the space and Is there anything that we should sort of gatekeep, or how do you think we should go about that?
About non-black, I don't think any non-black person should be infiltrating a black space unless they are trying to use their privilege to progress a black space. Unless they're using their white privilege to dismantle systemic racism and oppression by using their privilege, I don't want to see you. You're not adding to this space. You're not conducive to this space. You don't need to be around here. You're an op.
Is there any way for us to specifically be able to identify that they're here as an op and not as an ally?
I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that. I think that it will have to be a lot of proving that they are actually an ally. You will probably have to go based off of their their level of education, what they are knowledgeable about as it pertains to the black community. If they say things like "I don't see color," if they say things like "I don't see racism," those are clear indications that this is a person that you do not want to align with. Because a non-black person that understands the plight of it all, will never say those things. They understand why it's important to see color because this is what this country was based on. It was based on reducing people and devaluing people based on their color, based on their skin. So if a non-black person wants to come around the most marginalized and devalued group of this country and come near us knowing damn well that they've never had our same experience, you need to come with some information to help us progress and dismantle your white privilege. That's the only way that I'll tolerate you. And if you're not willing to do that, you're an op.
All right. So at 2 hours, 46 minutes, well, dang, we was going in time flies when you're having fun. Um, I'll end it off there. Thank you for coming on, having this discourse. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait to watch it back and watch all these moments back because I really was having fun. These are always fun to me. So yeah, with that,
I see what you did though. I see what you did.
what
All
I
these are little
do?
all these are little setups. All of
How are they
these are little
setups?
setups. Yeah, it is. But it's a
How are they
setup.
setups?
It's a setup because y'all know my face gets clicks and views. So y'all want to throw me in thumbnails and throw me in captions to
Oh
use
no,
me
I'm
for
gonna have our
engagement. So
regular.
the thing
I'm
is, and then you ask me questions knowing that I'm not going to give you like, yep, all the women that were in Miami were whores when they were in their
Oh
20s.
no, I want your authentic answer.
Yeah, but my authentic answer is going to be a little off of what the on beaten path is, and it's going to get you clicks and views. So I'm happy we were able to do this.
Well, I hope it gets clicks and views. We're in the clicks and views business, but it's you, your authentic self. I'm not gonna do one of those clickbait thumbnails. I'm just gonna have it,
You got cooked.
Yeah, I don't do those because I wouldn't want anyone doing it to me. And I'm in this space, and like I said, I get hate mail, I get all types of stuff. It's funny to me because like I know who I am, I know what I stand for. As long as no one doesn't misrepresent what I'm saying or lie on me or something like that, or like you said, do the clickbait or stuff like that, I'm fine. If it's something I'm actually saying and it's presented the way I said it and stuff like that, where it's no dishonesty, then I'm fine. Uh, I don't care. Hate me for who I really am. I just
Yeah,
don't
no,
like
I'm
when
just like,
people lie on like, oh, he said this and that's not what I
yeah,
said. Or
no, no, I know.
they take a clip and they do the what you call it, the clips and edit, and then they show part of what I said, and then I'm like, that's not what I said in full context. So stuff like that I don't like. So no, this is
Yeah.
gonna be up in its entirety. And then the small clips, like if I make clips for like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it's still going to be in full context.
Well, how did you think this interview went?
I said I thought it went well. I had
But are
fun.
you laughing at me or are you laughing with me? Like, are you laughing at and saying like, "Oh, like she's so stupid with her responses." Because
No,
sometimes that's what it gives. Like,
no. At
got you.
certain parts, I'm gonna be honest. At certain parts, I'm like you. I think you should have an idea of where we agree. at those parts, I'm laughing with you. And then at other parts, I'm laughing at you. But not laughing if you have to ask, I'm not really laughing at you. I'm just like, we disagree. But the
It's
parts
okay
where
to disagree.
we agree, which is most important, I do think you are genuine in your love for the Black community and fighting for the Black community. And that's what I'm about, which is why I wanted to have this discussion. At that part, we could laugh together at, like, certain things, like what you just ended off with. Like, if someone who is non-Black coming into this space, then I really don't need them in this space. But if they're going to come into space, come in as an ally and understand where you at, understand your position, and don't come in here trying to like bogart or take over our space and manipulate the situation to pin us against one another, because we don't need that. That's been done, for centuries.
Right.
So that's one of those situations where we agree and we laughing together, like, hi, don't try it over here, because we know.
Can I ask you one last question?
You can ask me a bunch of questions.
Do you think, because you said you would want to do this because you are genuinely making an effort to bring Black people closer together.
Mhm.
The line of questioning tonight, do body counts matter? Promiscuous women. They were very much so all about what women do and what in the behaviors of women. Do
Mhm.
you think that this conversation, these line of questioning, when it only pertains to the behaviors of women that you find, unattractive, these are the conversations that's bringing us closer together?
Yes, because I also ask questions about the men, and I ask the questions, like, for example, about a man wearing his pants at his thighs. My whole point is to what we can do to better ourselves to easily be attractive to the opposite, for a Black man to be attractive to a Black woman and a Black woman to be attractive to a Black man, so that they can come together and we form the Black nuclear family again. There's certain things that I see are red flags for men. And like I said, I bang and I go hard in that. And I brought up the example of gangbanging. Even if it is a minority in our communities, it's still a problem. And young boys who do that and become young men who do that, that's problematic. And women, I could easily see why a Black woman wouldn't want to date them. And they would be within their rights to not want to date them, which is why we have to fix it. So when you said, like, oh, why do we have to talk about things when it's a small portion of our community? That was my whole point. Even if it's a small part of our community, we have to address these things that are problematic, because it all connects. I talk about it in my book. I talk about so many things in my book. This book right here,
But
and
we both
it has a chapter called Solutions, and I even have at the
and
back of the
are
book.
all the solutions about what women should do different?
No, a lot of the things are general things for anyone to do different. So, for example, I could give you some of them, and you'll see how most of them pretty much focus on what men need to do differently. So, I'll give you an example.
Mhm.
So, stop promoting no snitching and letting your community be destroyed.
Okay.
Stop committing acts of
So,
violence towards one another. Stop joining gangs. Stop loitering and standing in front of stores doing nothing. That's a
okay.
minority, but that needs to be stopped.
Oh, I agree. I'm totally in alignment with that.
Yes.
These are directions for the youth though, right?
Well, it's more going to impact the youth, because like you said,
Okay.
adults, they get stuck in their ways, they're stubborn. Who are you to tell me I'm a grown man, I'm a grown woman? So there are some grown men who have contacted me and said, like, oh, seeing your interview helped me, or I read your book, it helped me. So that it
Okay.
can help some adults, but more so I focus on the youth.
Okay. We only spent a small portion of time talking about helping the youth, and the majority of the time was talking about women's behavior and how we're just so horrible in society today.
No, that wasn't it.
So I mean, I'm just saying, like, I mean, every question was about women's behavior, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. No. One of the questions I asked you was, how did you feel about Kevin Samuels' platform and what he did? That's nothing to do with women. That's not the woman's behavior. That's seeing what Jazz thought of Kevin Samuels and his platform.
Right, but it wasn't necessarily, and I'm trying to unpack like how these conversations can evolve to actually impact the youth. Because
Mm-hmm.
asking me about how I feel about Kevin Samuels doesn't impact the youth. But what
It
it does
does.
do, but what it does do is give you insight to my mindset on Kevin Samuels in order for you to defend his mindset on why we should all have listened to everything that he said. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see how, not saying these weren't great questions because they
Mhm.
were, but I'm just trying to understand like how that will in turn help the youth when the youth don't know about Kevin Samuels and the impact that he had on grown people.
The youth does know about Kevin Samuels.
Well, that's scary. But well,
So
I gotta agree because a lot of youth know about Andrew Tate too. So
yeah,
that's
they
a
sure do.
that's a whole thing, and that's horrible.
And I'm around them. I'm around them on a daily basis. I'm an educator. I'm in
Are you
schools on a
telling them
daily
not
basis.
to are you telling them not to listen to Andrew Tate?
It depends on what they say for Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's not a wrong 100% of the time. So just like Antoine Daniels, right? And I sent you a video. I know you do a lot of things with
Andrew Tate is an abuser of women.
so all right, but he also has said certain
Oh my
things.
God, there's a but?
No, no. All right, so here's my example. If Andrew Tate says 2 + 2 = 4, am I supposed to tell a student don't listen to him? That's
Yes.
not true.
Yes. You don't listen to any man that would abuse a woman. Period. And he not only abuses, he talks about abusing them. He talks about exploiting women. He
I
talks about reducing women to just objects.
I don't know everything he talks
Of
about or he
course.
states. I
Of
really
course.
don't. I'm not just saying that. I don't follow the guy like that. I've seen certain things he said that are absolutely wrong, that I don't agree with, that I've seen actually because I watch Auburn preach and they've done reviews of him. And I was like, wow, that was crazy. That's ridiculous. And then there's certain things that I've seen him say. I'm like, oh, that's actually true. And he had a statistic or a fact. I'm like, oh, that is correct. So that's where I am with him. I don't really know too much surrounding his whole situation. So he got arrested and they were saying he was trafficking or something like that. And then he spent 3 months and then he's out. But I don't really know everything surrounding him.
You know what you want
But
to know. The thing is
no, I
that
just don't look into he's not someone I'm interested in to know about. Like I'm more so like doing it like so for example, the example I was going to use. Because I did a clip that I sent you when Antoine Daniels said that someone who promotes like I forgot what he said about the black culture, but someone who promotes like black um I forgot what he said. That was wrong. But he's not wrong with everything he says, Antoine Daniels. There's several when he talks about like, oh, stop having children out of wedlock, get married, have a family, protect your family. Certain things he says, it's like, I agree with that. And then there's certain things that he says where I'm like, hold up, what the hell is that?
mhm.
So it's certain things where it's like, oh, the person is hitting the head, they're right. And then there's certain things where I'm like, I really disagree and I think that's detrimental. And I call the person out when I see that. So
Well, that's something different. Like not agreeing to the first thing that whatever he said that you can't remember. That isn't harmful. My thing is Andrew Tate has been harmful, physically harmful towards women.
oh
And
he
if
said
there are
pro-black is evil. That's what he said.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, yeah, that's just silly. But we all know how he feels about that. But that's not, That's his opinion, right? That's why you could say, I ain't fucking with that, but I like the stuff that he says over here. Anton is not out here promoting hitting people, exploiting women, hitting women, reducing women to just objects, bragging about using women and trafficking them.
Right.
This is what Andrew Tate is doing, right? So when he
Oh,
falls into his rhetoric is very exploitive when he speaks about relationships and women. So when you have young boys being impressed upon and they're hearing it and they're bringing it to you and you are saying, "Oh, yeah, he may have trafficked some women, but he said,
I don't
go
say
to the
that.
gym."
I don't say that. And
Okay.
no one has ever brought him to me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
If they ever
So
do, tell them that's somebody you don't
so
pick
if
apart a message from and
if
and
if
and say, "Here's
someone
okay to listen."
if a member of the youth, if a young kid, a teenager, whatever, was to bring me someone and I wasn't familiar with them,
Mm-hmm.
and they said like, "Oh, Dr. James, what do you think of this person?" If I'm not familiar with them, I'm going to say, "I've heard of them, but I'm not familiar with them." I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
give them an honest response. I'm not going to say, "Yeah, yo, he's cool," because that's what I would have to do. I would have to give some sort of a cosign. I wouldn't co-sign him because I don't know enough on him. That would be irresponsible. So I would tell the student if they really wanted my input, my feedback, I would say I got to do more research on this individual or something like that, then get back to you. If they just want my opinion, because sometimes kids send me clips all the time of people I don't know. They send me TikToks and stuff like that. And they're like, what you think of this? I'm like, my opinion on this video, on this clip. Especially some of my students are older. I have students who of all ages, from all ages, like grown adults were once my, students, and I mentor them now, and they,
Really?
they may be 25 years old now, 26, and they want my opinion on something, and they'll send me a clip, and I'm like, oh, here's my opinion on that clip. But
Yeah.
if I'm not familiar with something, I'm not going to act like I'm familiar with it and say, oh yeah, man, he's nailing it. He's a good person to follow. I have to know who you're speaking of. I
I
really
was
just
just
want them to, fall under my tutelage and my mentorship because I know me.
I was just asking because I agree that, and we can wrap this up.
Hmm.
I agree that we have to focus on the youth first. That's why when we have these conversations and we say we have to have these conversations about the 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 gangbangers and the and the all of these low brow subset of people that are behaving this way. But I just haven't found that conversations about body counts stops gun violence. Conversations shaming grown women for what they wear with their husbands. How is that? You know what I'm saying? You're advocating for the nuclear family, but you're shaming a family because
No,
you don't like the way the wife is dressed.
I'm not shaming a family.
You said he didn't put his foot down with her. You
He did
said
it.
you s- that's a form of shaming. You are judging
It's
that
not
man.
shaming a family. It's a beautiful family.
Okay. All right, Dr. James, we can wrap this up.
And also, I told you if you could add
Did you
questions
ever
in.
tell Russell Wilson that to his face, like, you know what, man, I don't respect you. You let your wife come outside with her
See,
titties out.
see,
You
I
you
wouldn't
you ain't nothing to the men out here. Would you
to the
ever say
men
that
out
to him?
here, to the men
Well,
out
yeah,
here.
because I mean, y'all are more concerned with what he's doing than he's more concerned with what y'all are doing or thinking
No,
about what he's doing.
the only reason why it's of any concern, and I say this with all people, when people say, why y'all worried about what Cardi B is doing? Why y'all worried about Meg Thee Stallion and all these people? And I say because they're public figures. The
And
youth,
that's it.
the youth, the youth is paying attention to them.
No, but they
So
should be paying more attention to the rearing in the home.
they should.
These public figures are not responsible
I
for raising
agree.
these kids. So
I agree.
so leave the public figures alone.
No,
They're
because
in
they have
interest.
influence.
They're in then if you can control what you're well, you can't really control because when a child leaves the house, they can be influenced by everybody else
Exactly.
around them. However, how you feed information to your child will let them know, even if they're outside in an environment with with these impressionable things, they have the confidence to say, I'm not participating in that because I know that's entertainment. I'm not going to think that this is normal behavior because my upbringing had told me, my parents told me that this is actually the righteous way to walk a path. I can be entertained by this entertainment and not say this is how I should live my life just because it's a woman doing it. Y'all can't put all this responsibility on entertainers when they're doing their jobs. So you can't, and then on top of that, these aren't the only entertainers out there. So if you are limiting your children on what type of entertainment they're consuming, that's on you. But if you're also not teaching children to separate entertainment from reality and behavioral norms of reality, that's also on you. But bringing up Cardi B and how she's living her life, bringing up Sexy Red and how she's living her life, and trying to say we got to stop them when y'all never stopped any of these rappers from exploiting and being egregious in their music and in their videos as it pertains to women. There was never any outrage about male rappers and the things that they would say. Uncle Luke, all of them, y'all was all with it. But as soon as women started to embrace their
Yep.
sexuality as entertainers, it's we got to stop it and end it and all of this now. So I just think we have to find balance and focus more on
No,
being. You said what?
no, because there's outrage over Lil Nas X.
No, but I'm not talking about Lil Nas X. I'm talking about real rappers and entertainers of our time that were very sexual and sexualized women. Tip Drill with Nelly, Uncle Luke with this. All of these super
Sexualized women.
very salacious. Did you have a concern with them? Did you ever say we need to stop Nelly from saying he needs a tip drill because he's going to influence young men to objectify women? Is that ever a conversation? Even with rappers now.
Well,
Do you
what
ever go at Future?
what
Do
was
you ever
yeah,
go at
yeah,
Lil Baby?
yeah. I go at rappers who make drill and drug music.
Do you go at rappers who create multiple broken homes as well? And do you
Multiple
constantly
broken
do you
homes. I don't know. What do you mean? Who?
well,
What?
Future has a bunch of kids out of wedlock. Nick Cannon has a bunch of kids out of wedlock. Lil
What
Baby
do you mean out
has
of well? So if they
they
are
put in their
taking care,
music.
if you like, so a situation like Nick Cannon, he's doing it and he knows he's purposely choosing a lifestyle. So
Creating broken homes.
I I'm not all right. So I'm an Israelite, so I probably don't view it the way you view it, or as to
So
what you're
what does the
saying,
Israelite have to do with it?
because
Nick Cannon's an Israelite?
I don't view marriage the way you people view marriage
Okay,
in a
but he's still
traditional.
creating broken homes.
Is he taking care of his kids? Is what I want to know.
You can't take care of all 20 kids in separate households, can you? Because you
As
definitely
a
need.
multi-millionaire, yeah, you can.
So you're saying all you need is money to take care of a kid?
No, I just said
So
with
how is he able
resources and money, you can
so
though.
how is he able to, because a child will tell you as an adult, I didn't need the gifts, I didn't need the money, I needed you there.
No.
I
Yeah,
needed the time there.
right.
So are you saying that it's okay for a man that's rich to create? What's really your stance, Dr. James? Because
So
one minute it's
I would
like
tell you
we need a two-parent household, we need a mother, man, and child. But if he got money and he can just throw
that's
money
not
at his
it.
kids, that's also okay.
That's not it. So understanding is I'm the youngest of 10.
Okay.
Like I told you, my father raised me.
Okay.
My father wasn't a multimillionaire. He was in my life. He was present and he taught me many things that I've already alluded to. So
Hmm.
a person can have a lot of kids and still take care of them. My father didn't just have kids by one person, and he
Hmm.
took care of me. He raised me well.
Was he
So
in your
that's what I'm
household?
saying. Huh?
Was he married to your mom? Was he in your household?
Yes, he was.
That's the difference. Do you think your siblings
No,
have that same
I could
experience?
add more context, but
But I'm saying, but
I'm not
I
going to
get
give
what you're
more to my
saying.
haters. But I'm just saying, my father had 10 kids,
Right. And
close to
I'm
Nick Cannon,
sure,
and raised me.
your other siblings cannot say the same that you just did.
Yes, they can.
Oh, that they were all that he was in their house every day the way that he was in your house every day?
He raised them.
But was
It
he in
was
love?
very prevalent.
He was
And
okay. I'm sure he was a great father. But what I'm
that's what
saying
they
is,
all will say.
well, I'm sure, but there there isn't
The
there
end.
it isn't. We do know that when you create multiple broken homes, that it can have a negative impact on the children because
We
every
do.
child is not going to be able to experience their father the same way. He's going to miss some birthdays. He's going to miss some life milestone moments. He's going to miss some major accomplishments if he has a slew of children spread out throughout the country, which is what Nick
Jazz,
Cannon does.
I'll tell you
So,
this. I agree with you. If the
but that's
father is
okay if
in,
he has
but
money.
look, if the father is under the same roof, it's more likely that he can give that child those children the proper attention they're going to need aside from just money and resources.
But if he has 10 kids in 10 different homes, how can he do that?
Oh, so you said it's not possible at
How
all?
can one person be in 10 homes at the same time?
That's not at the same time, but in the same
So,
day.
okay, you're right. So if you're there with one, that means you're losing time with the other. So it's like sometimes, so I'm gonna spend 1 month with this kid, 1 month with that kid, one
It don't
month
got to
with
be
this.
1 month.
Okay, either way, a child suffers because you're not able to have your father full time unless they are in your home full time. You may see him every now and again. You may see him, you may hear from him every now and again because he got 10 other kids to give his time to. So how is he really showing up equally for all of his children if they're all spread out? If
They can be
they're
spread out, and you could delegate the time equally.
sure delegating time, but we know the best opportunity for a kid is when the father is in the home 24/7 of the time, not just 3 to 6 hours out the day. So then he can go be with his other kids.
But there are kids who turn out fine and successful, even though their father is not
Never
there.
said that that doesn't happen. Exactly.
I know. I'm just saying what you've been saying.
Exactly. So that is why we cannot assume we cannot assume one thing. You're a product of that exact environment. Your father was in your house alone, but he was not full time in the houses of your siblings, and y'all all turned out great.
No,
So
I
that
didn't say
means,
he wasn't fully in the house of my siblings.
but if they had, okay,
I
okay,
said I'm the youngest of 10.
and he was in your home,
So you got to think about that. I'm the youngest.
so he was in the
So
youngest
I'm the
home,
last one.
right? So he was able to rear you from start to finish. He didn't give that same opportunity to the other kid, but y'all
Who
still turned
said
out
that?
okay.
Who said
Huh?
that? Who said that?
Okay, so each year he had 10 kids. So each year how was he able to raise all 10 equally?
It's
If he wasn't
possible.
if he wasn't in the home
He
with all of
was.
them. He was in the home with all 10 of y'all?
Yeah. Ever heard of the Jackson Five?
Oh, you didn't say that at first. You
No,
didn't say
no, no.
you
I
said
didn't. What did I say?
you said that he had 10 kids by 10 different women
No, I did not.
or several
That was
different
never
women.
said.
Not 10, but different women, not the
I
same one.
said my mom wasn't the only one.
Your mom wasn't the only one. Okay, so were all the women in the house too?
You all right? So here's how you got to understand it. I don't like to give too much information. You got to understand. I'm the last one, so my mom is the last one. Get it?
Okay. So you got the best of your father because he ended up marrying your father and staying
He married
I'm
my
sorry,
father.
marrying your mother and staying in the home with your mother from the time you were born to the time you were an adult. What I'm
Right.
saying is he was not able to give that same experience to 10 other kids when he has 10 other households, or I don't know how many households between the 10 kids, but he was not married to these other women and in the home from the time that they were born to the time that they were adults, the way that he was with you. Not saying that he wasn't a good father, but the experience you got is far different from the ones that he gave to his other kids because he was not married and in the house from the same time. How could he be in the house with one kid from the time that they're an infant to they're grown, when he got 9 others that are infants and growing up too.
That's not true.
Okay.
That's actually not how it happens.
Okay.
Look, because I'm the last one. The first one, he had the same upbringing. He was there the whole time. And I'm the last one. So from the first one to the last one, we had the same upbringing.
Oh, okay. So he had one child, raised it till they were 18, then had another, raised that one, then had another. You know what I'm saying? So, because you're saying every child had the same experience you did, right? Married their mom, was in the house, rearing them from start to finish. The math don't math quite as well because you're in
People
the
will get
household
it.
from the time that they're born till they're 18, but you got 10 kids.
People will get it. I'm
You got
also a twin. Remember I said that.
okay.
People will get it.
I don't understand how it is. Everybody gets the same experience. It's 10 kids. You're the last one. It went all, but if
The
you were the
Jackson
last one,
5 is a good example to use.
so
People,
when you
so
were
someone
so
can
when
have
you were the
10
last
kids.
one, when
Huh?
you were the last one, were your siblings still younger?
My siblings were still younger.
Like, okay, you're the youngest sibling. So when you
Yeah.
were born, were all 9 of your siblings still in your house?
When I was born,
Mhm.
yeah,
If
when I
everybody
was
got the same, I'm just
yeah,
trying to figure out how
when I was born.
huh? When you were born, all 9 of your other siblings were in your house
Um,
full
yeah.
time from start to finish.
When I was born from start to finish. That
When
now
you have any of your other siblings lived outside of the home that your father lived in?
have they ever lived outside the home?
Mhm. Like with their mom, because obviously you and your twin have different moms than your other siblings, because you said that you have.
Yeah, some of them have lived outside the home at some point.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. So that's what I'm saying. Not saying that he wasn't a great dad. Clearly he was. But what I'm saying is the effects of children that are in situations like that aren't able to experience their father full time can have a negative impact, which is why I don't agree that it's
I agree
okay.
with you there.
Yeah, I don't agree that it's okay for Nick Cannon to be excused of having all of these children with these different women, not committing to any of their mothers, and then saying, "Well, he has money, so it's okay." That's not bringing
I didn't
the
say he's
community
okay
closer.
because he has money. I didn't say that.
But you also said that he's still being a good father.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said it's possible for a multimillionaire with resources, is what I said.
To
It's
throw money at
possible
their
for
kids.
I said it's possible for him to be present with a multimillionaire with resources, even though he has 11 kids, whatever it is. It's possible, is what I said.
To be equally
I don't
present.
know, but I don't know what type of father any of these people are, or
To
mother, any
be
of them. Like I hate when people say that, oh yeah, but he's a good father. I don't know what type of father he is.
would you say a good father is someone who whether you have money or not is someone who creates multiple children with multiple women out of wedlock with no intentions of creating a home with these women? Would you define that as a
He
good father?
he could be a good if all right, here's what I define as a good father. Someone who's present, not just there financially, someone who provides for their kids. They're there emotionally to support, mentally to support, financially to support, spiritually to support and guide their children. That's a good father. That's a good father. So even if he does the thing what you just said, he may not be a good partner. He may not be creating the ideal household or something like that, but you can still be a good father even though you have multiple kids from multiple women.
How can you be a good father if you can't be present?
But you can be present.
Not full time. When you got 12 kids, you
Yeah.
cannot be equally present to every child full time. Those kids do not wake up and see their
So
father
you're
every
saying,
day in the home.
let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're saying if a guy has multiple kids
With
from
different women
multiple
in
women
different homes.
and they don't all live together, he's automatically a bad father.
He is creating broken homes, and he is creating an environment where he is part-time with that child.
So he's
Because
automatically a bad father.
I wouldn't call that a good one. I wouldn't call it a man that's
So what would you call
deliberately
it?
you all right. If you all right, if you can still show up the way you can, but to be a good father, I don't think a good
So
father would
if he
create multiple broken homes,
if he's
multiple bastard children.
if he treats, that's not a bastard child if you're present in their life as a father. If you're paying for if they need dance lessons or them to speak an extra language, or if you make every football, basketball game or every dance recital, if you're always present when they need you, it's not like you see them, frequently. If you see them equally, it's still possible to see them equally.
How?
I can go to this house for 2 hours, this house for 2 hours, and this house for 2
Exactly.
hours,
Limited
but it's still
time.
equally. That's what I said, equally. I didn't say a
Okay.
lot. You're still going to see them all equally, and you can make sure they're doing their homework. You show up to parent-teachers conference. You can show up and be a very involved father,
How can
even though they're different households.
when they're spread across the country, different school schedules,
The country is
different
different.
ages.
The
We're not
country
talking
is
about
different.
we're not talking that's what I'm talking about. We're not
No,
talking
I'm
about
talking
the
about
men.
just in
I'm
general.
not talking about the men that knocked up every girl on the same block and you can go in and out of their houses and see your kids. I'm talking
That's why
about
I wanted to make sure I was understanding what you were
I'm talking
saying.
about
Like, just
but
if a guy has multiple kids,
even still with that, you're still creating an environment where they cannot equally see you. They can only see you for a couple hours each. Is that the best fathering a man can do?
no, ideally, like I said, if ideally, what I promote is I would want one family, one household. I would want one family. So if if a if a if there's a man and he has one wife, then they're under the same household. If he has three wives and three kids, they're under the same household. Is what I would prefer, what I would promote.
And that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's why I was
That's
like, if
ideally
everybody,
what I would promote.
yeah, if everybody's under the same roof, I'm good with that. That's
Yeah,
fine.
I wouldn't promote. I would agree with you. I wouldn't promote a guy to, oh, I got a kid in Wyoming, one in New York,
Right,
one in California. No, I
right.
wouldn't promote that because then I believe children need to see you physically, and then you wouldn't be able to be there present enough physically
Right.
for every child. So that's
And
what
that's
I would be
what
saying.
right. And that's what concerns me because that's what Nick Cannon has done.
I don't see, again, I don't know enough about his situation. I don't
Well,
know what's going on.
just the what we do know is that he has multiple kids with multiple women throughout the country. They ain't all in
I
the
don't
same
I
block.
don't know that.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a fact. I'm telling you. Now you
Oh,
know.
well, I don't know that until I fact checked, until I know
Okay.
what's going on. I can't speak on it. That's how I don't
Yeah.
like to operate off conjecture.
Yeah.
So
But what I took away from this conversation tonight is just being more open to having conversations with Black men to find resolution to bring us closer together. So I appreciate you giving the platform and the opportunity to do so.
and what I want you to do is I want you to come up with some questions to ask me.
Oh, you want to have this conversation again?
I want you can ask the questions.
Okay.
You can come up with all the questions you want and I'll answer. I'm a straight shooter because I don't play games. I like to shoot it straight and I want to be objective. We can't go anywhere without being objective. So you could come up with all the questions you want to ask me, the ones that you feel are best, if you want to, and I'll come on and I'll answer them.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm with that. I'm with that. Let's figure out a way to do that. soon, because I haven't hosted a panel yet, but I will definitely keep that in mind and bring up some questions that we can kind of go back and forth with. I'm with that.
All
Dr.
right.
Jang.
Signing off.
Peace out.